Just live here. Welcome, everybody, to the Making Awesome podcast, Season 3, Episode 46. This is episode 115, and we have an awesome guest today, Nero, or Taylor. Some of you might know him. Taylor, it is an honor to have you here. We've met a few times, and I consider you a friend in this industry. But I'm going to need you to give me the Backstreet Boys. Who you are, where you're from, what you did, and as long as you love me.
Okay. So I'm not sitting down like Grant, and I tend to wander around when I talk and fidget with stuff. So you expect that throughout the stream. So hi, my name is Taylor. It's not Jeff. And I am at one point it was YouTuber for fun, but now it's my job. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my community all notified of all this at the same time too. And but yeah, so I run a YouTube channel called Nero3D. Why is it called Nero3D? Let's start in the beginning. So billions and billions of years ago, when YouTube was new in 2006, I created a YouTube account to upload a World of Warcraft video. The YouTube account was named after my World of Warcraft character, which is Nero. Why Nero? Because when I needed an account for, I think it was Hotmail, I was told not to use my real name. So at the time, I had Nero Burning ROM on my computer, and I went, that's a cool name. I don't know anything about Roman history or anything about Nero, which probably, I probably should have looked that up first. He wasn't a great guy, but Nero Burning software was really good. So it's from that, literally. And I've just, the name's kind of stuck, and now it's the brand name, so I can't change it now. So I'm stuck with it, but my name is Taylor. So yeah, I YouTube account from 2006, uploaded the odd thing here and there for a while. It was a USPSA channel, surprisingly. But I got involved in 3D printing late 2017. So for my background, my last big career was I was a tool maker, and I built injection molds. So I worked for a tool and mold shop that built injection molds. Now, I wasn't an engineer. I was a wrench monkey on the floor. I was the guy who put the tool together. So put it together, take it apart, fitting, modifying, fixing, whatever, right? So I was on with, hands in the grease with a wrench, building these 100,000-pound tools. So 3D printing was kind of a side thing to that industry. It was starting to come up. I knew people in the shop who had 3D printers. It was something we had a few at the shop. So it's something I was kind of looking at from an adjacent. I'm I kind of wanted to get into that. So I got a 3D printer late 2017. My wife bought me a Monoprice Select Mini for Christmas. And within about 3 weeks of getting that, I was already looking up mods to make it bigger, because 120 cubed is not that big.
Yeah,
so
they're not large.
Don't build a V0 as your first printer. It's way too small. So I started Googling. At first, I was going to build a Hypercube Evo, which was the style at the time. I was also looking at a fuse box, but I went on what you do. If you join a community, you've done it too, where you join a community, you go find the subreddit for that community, and you go by hot all time, and you go, show me what you got, and you see what you got. So if you go to our RepRap and you search hot by all time, it's still one of the top posts, is a printer called the Voron, pre-V1 Voron. And I was like, that's cool. Do a little bit of research. Next thing you know, I'm in a Slack group, and I'm ordering parts to build a V1.5, which the frame of it is actually this printer here, which is now a V2. And then at the time, the Voron community was much, much, much smaller than it is now. I was apparently they thought I was a cool guy on the Slack. So I got invited to the Voron Orleans Club after I built mine. I made a few random tutorial videos, which they're still on the channel. If you go back a couple of years on my channel, you can find how to put the drive assembly for V2.0 together. I did a few odd little tutorials because I was kind of active in the Discord helping people. And I'm this is kind of annoying answering the same questions over and over. So I'm going to start making tutorial videos. So I made a few odd tutorial videos here and there. but it was never really, I wasn't planning to be, everyone wants to be a YouTuber, but it's like, you know, once you hit your 30s, you realize how dumb that idea is. Like, what are the odds I'm going to be a YouTuber? So I made the few odd tutorial videos, nothing major. And then everyone started getting sick in 2020. And you know what happened. So
human malware.
We're all, human malware. So we're now stuck inside. We couldn't go anywhere. I had a little kid. I still have a little kid. He's upstairs. He's 5 now. But it's like, well, I'm bored. Like, what am I going to do? I can't go out. I can't do anything. So I'm like, hey, I've got to rebuild a printer. I'm going to live stream it, which was, again, I think it was this guy. So I'm like, I'm just going to, I know. So my very first live stream is taking apart I think it was either V1, V0 or this guy, because this was a V2 that it needed upgrades. I think it was that one. So either way, it was like, hey, I'm just going to do this while I'm just going to live stream this. I'm in the Voron Discord, so I can go at a bunch of people. Hey, I'm live. Come join in, and automatically get an audience to start. Which that's, you know, if you talk to anyone who starts a content creator, getting that initial audience is the hardest part.
Dude, it sucks. It sucks so much.
It's horrible. Like, go on Twitch and just see who's streaming and scroll down a couple pages. Sort by most viewed. Scroll down a couple pages. You're very going to quickly get to people streaming to 5, 6 people. And then before you know it, it's one, none. Most people stream to nobody. So the fact that I could go live to a captive audience of a Discord that's already interested in the subject, that's kind of helped a lot.
Yeah,
that kind of got my foot in the door. But even then, that was never meant to be. It was just kind of, hey, you know, hey, we'll start doing this on Sunday nights and make it kind of a semi-regular thing. So I did that build series, and I took a couple weeks off. Then I did a V0. Then I took a couple weeks off. Then we did a switch. Like, it was kind of like not consecutive. It was just, you know, something to do. And then what ended up happening? So this was what, March? I think it was April of 2020 when I first started, April or May. Come October, my shop actually laid me off because the government stopped. There's a whole thing with the shop I used to work at. They got bought out by a foreign investment firm, and everything went to poop. And by foreign investment firm, I mean Americans. Yeah. So everything went to poop. So
such is the American way.
Yeah, they laid off a bunch of people, me included. And I went, oh shoot. So what am I going to do? So at the time, I'm like, you know what? Let's try live streaming more. So I did like 3 live streams that week. And then they called me back and went, oh shit, we shouldn't have laid you off. We need you back. Come back, please. So I went back. Yeah, they way overcorrected. So, but that kind of gave me like the idea, and I started crunching the numbers. I'm like, okay, if I stream 3 days a week and with my current audience, that's actually not, it wasn't viable at the time, but it was kind of like, I could make this work. So I went on for like another year. I started making the streams more regular. It became every Saturday at that point after that. And I started doing more videos. I view myself primarily a streamer. I personally am not a huge fan of doing videos. It's not my thing. I'm not a huge fan of editing. I can't script anything to save my life. I've never scripted a video. I've tried to. I always end up just saying, screw it, I'll do it live.
Same. It's like, it's easier to edit out the BS than it is to sit down and write the script, take all the time. No, F it, we'll do it live.
Pretty much. So and also we'll get into ROI and whatnot, especially in modern YouTube later. But I view myself more as a streamer. So I'm like, okay, I did a stream once a week. I did the odd video. And then that went on for about a year. My audience kept growing. I know my channel will never, ever get, pop off in numbers. If I ever get that 100,000 plaque, I'll be happy. I know I'm in a very niche audience with a niche community. I temper my expectations of metrics, but they kept doing good, right? If you could describe my YouTube growth, it is linear AF. There is no spike. It's just, you can level a bed to that, although you're gonna have to trim it.
You need the Voron tap kit to do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
And then what ended up happening was March of last year, March of 2022, things were getting pretty bad at the shop I was at. I was not happy with the way things are going. I took a month off work to just say, you know what, I took a, like, I guess you could say a stress leave or whatever. I took a month off work, and I'm like, I'll see you in a month. I basically told him I'll see you in a month. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try this YouTube thing full time. I did a month of 3 days a week streaming with videos and whatnot. I crunched the numbers. And then when the month was up, HR called me. They're like, hey, are you coming back? And I'm like, no. So since April 1st of 2022, I've been a full-time YouTuber. And as of yesterday, if I counted right, which I can't really, if you go, you know, I have a playlist for live streams, but I don't always tag them right. I'm at 325 live streams, which on average, it's about 3 hours each. That's a pretty decent amount of content I put out. So
yeah, I looked the other day because, you know, we have like the TubeBuddy notifications or something. It's like, you just surpassed 1,000 uploads. I'm like, oh God. Oh, there's a lot of videos.
Yeah, but that counts shorts too, right?
I think it does. And we put out a lot of short form content because it's easy. I click a button like I'm gonna do right now, and the last 2 minutes of what we said is now saved in a vertical video format. The editor just cuts it down to 45 seconds or less, and bingo bango, content creation. Apparently, multiple people in the chat here are saying that you need a cat, and they're asking where Miss Victoria is. Well, she was on her ottoman. Now she's gone. She's the queen of the Ottoman Empire. She's probably off in the bedroom somewhere. You have a llama.
I've got an owl.
I've
got a llama.
You have a llama.
I've got a demon thing. And
okay.
So a Mandalorian
I have a Wexter
helmet.
and a floaty, so that now goes into the cat bed.
There you go.
Well, I mean, what's really the difference, honestly? But no, hey, look, I'm just looking at the chat. We got a lot of awesome people here. 84 watching live, but only 36 likes. That should be fixed. And if you guys do want to chat with us, we do have it set to subscriber only for 1 minute. Sorry, it keeps the trolls at bay. So, you know, just hit the subscribe button if you want to troll us in the comments, I guess, right?
Nah, open the floodgates.
No.
Open the gates.
We tried that once, and then Evil Senpai noticed us, and then we stopped doing that. And you know exactly who Evil Senpai is. I continually say that I don't like 3-letter things, and that just fits along with that notion for me, you know? See, and they say, well, Grant, your company's 3DM. No, see, that's a number and 2 letters. I'm cool. We're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have some mods in there, so, you know.
There you go. There you go.
And actually, on our Discord, there's a few of them hanging out in a live Discord channel, so they all get together so they can make fun of me in our Discord.
Am I on your
when
Discord?
I'm not?
I don't know.
No, you're not. We do have it gated. I can get you in there if you'd like. You know the right guy to send you the link, but yeah, we gate it behind the $10 a month tier.
Okay, there you go.
Spoiler: you only have to pay it once for the access. But I said that is enough that, like, I'm not gonna put it at $1 because then people are gonna pay $1 to come in, be a pain in my butt, and I have to ban them, and I feel bad for it. At 10, we have a smaller community of people, but they're really, really cool people, and we hang out all the time. I am pretty much daily. I am in there hanging out, either in the working channel where I'm just working, whatever it is, and
yeah, it
appears a lot of people here want you in our Discord, so I will make that happen.
Okay,
but Zombie says it's BYOG. Bring your own grub screws.
Oh God. Okay, so funny thing with the grub screws. If you know, you know. I went to the dentist like 2 weeks ago for my like annual checkup or whatever. It turns out I had a chipped tooth. I can't say for sure it was the grub screw, but they fixed it. So yeah.
But did they 3D print it to fix it?
No, they do the little resin thing. They just do.
Well, I mean, it's probably UV curable resin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some of that over here on the shelf. It's like proper FDA biocompatible. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do you know the grub screw thing?
I know of the story. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those at home who don't know, during a live stream, my wife just happened to be out and came home and bought Nerds, the little Nerds candy. So she gave me a box of Nerds, and I was building a printer at the time. So I had the Nerds there, and I'm building the printer and whatever. And I spilt some of them. So I just kind of, swept them off the thing. I threw them out. And it turns out there was a grub screw in there, and it went crunch and it hurt. So I'm like, oh, we're okay. We're okay. No, apparently I chipped my tooth. So I found that out like a year later.
That's that's not pleasant. No.
No.
Dental work. See, you're far enough north that dental work is at least reasonably affordable. The better three quarters had to get some dental work, and it was like $1,600 a tooth. It's like, geez. Yeah.
There was a period where I didn't have health insurance because I had moved out, but my jobs. So in Canada, dental isn't covered like automatically.
Right.
But I had to get, I got a cleaning and 2 cavities filled without insurance, and it was like $220.
Cries in America. And like that's $220 Canadian, right? So that's like what? 30 cents, 40 cents. No, I'm joking. That's
YouTube pays me in American currency. I'm okay with that.
Hey, well, as long as you don't pay a conversion fee at the bank, I guess. Or do you just have like a USA account?
They just direct deposit it into my account, and it just gets converted, and that's that. So
yeah, I have been thankful that I have, I don't have cavities. I've never had a tooth pulled. I've got good teeth, but I am worried for that day because I don't have dental insurance because it was really expensive. Oof. I'm like, well, a cavity filling would cost me as much as the insurance does for the year, and I've never had a cavity, so I think I'm gonna risk it and hope I don't get knocked out. Spurlock says Florida man with teeth. Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, you know what? That's you get that.
I watched enough Cops. You don't have teeth down there.
You know what's really funny about Live PD? It's filmed in the same county that I live in, or used to be filmed in the same county that I live in, Pasco County, Florida. Yeah. You know about Florida Man, right? You know why Florida Man's a thing with the sunshine laws.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Zombie's asking when I'm going to be doing a Voron build and when we're going to be building one together. And I feel like that's going to be my first Voron build. To be like, I need help. I don't know what I'm doing. Because I decided that I'm going to be crazy and do a Trident 300 as my first build, and apparently make it 5 colors.
Bet. That is like your best bet. If you don't know what Voron to build a Trident.
Yeah.
Because if you ask me, should I build? Okay, so there's 5 Vorons, right? The Legacy, that's a resto mod. You build that because you want to. Okay. In terms of like it's unenclosed, it's rods. It only is the one size. The Legacy is a resto mod, okay, of the Vorons. It's for those that still have a V1.0 or 1.5 kicking around and they want to upgrade it, but they don't want to go to the modern one. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it was designed to be the best of what a printer with like 2016, 2018 tech could be, basically.
Okay.
So that's the Legacy. Okay. Then you have the switch wire. As you can see, I don't have my switch wire out. My switch wire is relegated to storage. It is a Core XZ bed flinger. If you have an ender, converting an ender to a switch wire, awesome, do it. Building one from scratch is a fun build, but you're limited again to the one bed size. It's a very bulky machine, like it's all 30-30s. It's rigid AF.
That's
and you can't
30-30. Geez.
And you can enclose it, but the enclosure is kind of finicky because you're enclosing a bed flinger. Mm-hmm. But like all Vorons, the enclosure actually isn't any bigger than the XY platform of the machine. It's actually, that's why if you look at a switch wire, why it's so long, it's because the bed actually doesn't travel outside of the frame like on most. So like on a Prusa, the bed overhangs in the front and goes out the back. Yeah, switch wire, it doesn't. So we made it longer so you can just panel it up, right?
Oh, to make the enclosure easier. Right.
Exactly. So the switch wire, it's kind of like if you got an ender, convert it. Building one from scratch, you don't see as many. Then you got V0, which is, everyone loves the V0. Don't build a V0 as your first printer. Don't build a V0 as your first Voron. But it is a fun secondary printer. It's fun to build. It's a cute little desk printer. You keep it in your desk. If you need to print something quick, it heats up really quick. It cools down really quick. It's quiet. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's a fun little desktop secondary printer. Okay. But it's not the most capable printer because, again, 120 cube. Technically, you can print every functional part you need to build any Voron on a V0.
That's cool.
But some of those parts you're printing one at a time.
Right.
So there's that. And then you have V2, and then you have Trident. If you don't know which one you want to build a Trident. Okay. The biggest difference is the bed, because the gantry on both is exactly the same.
Sorry, it's the bamboo. The bamboo's making noise, and I'm looking over like, why are you making noise? My stream knows it when I look over there. It's because that's where my bamboo is located. Like, what the actual hell are you doing?
It's doing bamboo things.
Yeah,
I know. I was yelling at mine the other day.
Sorry.
So basically, the gantry, the XY motion on both is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is on the V2, the gantry moves. On the Trident, the bed moves.
Yeah.
At 250 to 300, in my opinion, the Trident makes more sense. At 300 to 350, the V2 makes more sense because of the lower center of gravity, right?
Right.
I have a
I
350 Trident.
V2. It's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like the whole XY moving up and down. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So basically, they both perform within margin of error of each other. If you were to show somebody a Benchy and they're like, was this printed on a Trident or a V2? Nobody will ever know the difference.
Right.
It comes down to personal preference. And if you ask me which one to build, then just go with the Trident. If you're going to build a V2, build a V2. But if you don't know which one to build the Trident, because odds are you're probably not going to notice the difference. And the Trident's a little bit easier. It's a little bit cheaper. And it's a little bit, because it's lead screw drive, it's a little bit more, less finicky, so less tuning involved.
I'm just gonna make it all 1605 ball screws. Screw it, we're going Pantheon.
You have some in it back there, I think.
Huh?
I have ball screws back. I've got a bunch of ball screws. I don't know why, but
I've got one over by the bamboo that is part. So the system that it's on is a 20 wide by 20 thick by 160 wide. There's it 140. It might be 80 wide. Honestly, don't remember. But it uses a pair of SBR12 linear rails and a 1605 ball screw going down the center. That's going to be the Z-axis for the D-bot that I have that used to run on 3 unsupported lead screws. So it's going to run on one big-ass cantilevered ball screw. The Z without the bed weighs over 40 pounds already in just aluminum and steel.
So I've got this.
Did you just go under the table?
No, I just went around the table.
Oh, okay. I think I looked away for a second. It looked like you'd gone under the table.
So this is a Japan WTF 1530 ball screw. It's a setup. THK BT12 management. I've looked it up because I'm missing the other end of this, and the nut is cracked. Yeah, they're like $400 or $500 each. This was in the chip,
or
I think the nut, the replacement nut.
Huh?
This THK Japan, right?
Yeah.
This was in the chip bin at work.
Nice.
I just grabbed it one day.
Nice.
I have no need for it. I don't know if I'll ever use it for anything. It's a high speed one too, right? So it's
now you need a few more of them. I see. This is the maker problem, though, right? We would see that and say, "I need it."
Oh yeah,
and have no valid reason to own it whatsoever.
All right, get over here. This is my bonsai. This was built with like literally the spare parts I had on hand.
I can
like literally. I just went digging for parts, leftover extrusions, leftover lead screws and rods and wire and controllers, and I think the only thing I had to buy for this was the bed and like one motor for like the extruder or something. And everything else was just spare parts I had kicking around. And yes, it runs Clipper.
Of course it does. Everything that you make runs Clipper. Even your name tag ran Clipper. We're building a product called the Politician because it filters and produces hot air. It's a politician. And we are looking at, so Gen 1 is almost 100% done. And as such, Gen 2 is already in the works, and we're likely going to be building it off of a RP2040. So the joke will be that Yeah, we'll put Clipper in it just as a joke.
There you go.
It
There you
will
go.
serve no functional purpose. But we will.
This is going to get Clipper at some point.
Yeah, we had someone asking earlier if that was an original Ultimaker or a clone, and that is actually an original laser cut.
It's an Ultimaker. I started building it last night. One of the things, so if you don't know, as I said at the beginning of the stream here, I build printers on streams.
Yep.
We do other stuff occasionally too. I've built a set of Mando armor and whatnot. I do other stuff, right? I've got a Blade Runner blaster I'm building right now. But the meat and potatoes of my channel is I build printers on stream. So I just built a Rook. I just built a Prusa Mark IV. We're starting a VZBot 330 build this Tuesday.
Dude, I want to look at VZ bots. Those things look great.
People have been wanting me to build one for a while, so I finally have a kit. But
I still get yelled at for the Voron because I can see the boxes.
But this was something I've been wanting to do for a while because I'm a very, Grant, once you're around 3D printers for a while, you realize they're really not that special.
No.
Because, I've got a drawer here of NEMA 17s. Okay, this is the NEMA 14. But, these haven't changed. The motors haven't changed. The belts, technically that's MXL. But the belts haven't changed. The lead screws haven't changed. Core XY is Core XY. A bed flinger is a bed flinger. All printers is the exact same thing, just put together slightly differently. And once you start, once you get the chance to play with multiple of the same type of printer, they don't seem as special. Right now, it's the enclosed lower cost Core XY binge. Okay. Now, granted, I'm happy that, we're no longer dealing with cheap V-wheel bed flingers day after day after day because, yeah.
Sorry.
You get the emails too. You get the emails too.
And M5C is showing up eventually. Although I hope I get the tracking number for that before Wednesday's video comes out because I have a feeling they're not going to send it after Wednesday's video comes out.
I've got one on the way too. We'll see. I'll give it an open mind until I have it on hand, and then we can see.
Honestly, just if you want to keep an open mind, don't read the privacy policy.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm already in contact with them about it, but more to come on Wednesday.
But yeah, so right now we have the current dirge of enclosed Core XY machines. So far I've got the Bamboo.
Yep.
I've got two of the Cheaties. I got the X Smart and the X Plus. The K1 might eventually show up. I don't know. Creality said they were sending me one. They said they were sending them to a bunch of reviewers, and then they didn't.
Boy, I wonder why I wasn't on that list. Oh, I know.
I've also got is it Kingrun KLP1? Might be on the way. But here's the thing.
I thought that one was kind of curious.
It's really cheap. That's the thing with them. It's really cheap. So I like the KP3S because it's really cheap and it works. So if they make a really cheap and it works, Core XY. But here's the thing. If you look at them hardware wise, yeah, you're going to have issues in build quality, obviously, between them. But at the end of the day, they're all enclosed Core XYs. They all have the exact same motors moving them. They're all running 32 bits with TMC drivers, except for Bamboo.
They don't use stepper motors.
They don't use
or stepper drivers. Excuse me.
They use loud noises to make their printers.
They use H bridges.
I know. So here's the thing: they're all using the same motors. They're all using the same belt. They're all using 32-bit motion systems that'll be able to drive them as fast as you want. So when they advertise speed, I don't care because my Voron 1, my V1 that I built from a Voron kit, literally a circa 2016, I think it was, kit. It's got a ramps, it's got DRVs, it runs 12 volt.
Who ramps?
I threw a Orange Pi Zero in that thing. Put Clipper on it, it moves as fast as a Bamboo. So speed isn't impressive to me because I know anyone can do speed. It's not hard to do speed.
With fast speed can come fast problems. As I sit here and my Bamboo failed again. I don't get it.
Okay. I'll be honest, my bamboo works when it works. Okay. I'm having the issue with the bed wire again and the sensor.
Oh, when it works, but it doesn't work a lot of the time.
I know. So maybe you need to old yeller yours. Like maybe you're in Florida, go get some of that tannerite stuff and just take it.
Yeah, I could go buy it off store shelves out here.
Because like, I'll be honest, mine with the AMS is a champ. Like that's literally what I use mine for the majority of the time is the AMS, because it is still the best multicolor system there is.
Maybe I was just stupid thinking, it's been okay doing single color for a little bit. Let's do a white part with black letters on it. Nope. No, it looks like maybe, well, I can see a bunch of filament out of the top of it. So it either went to unroll the white to pull the black in and it didn't unroll. I don't know, man. And like, I've been respooling on the bamboo spools. I've been trying everything. It just, yeah, I have zero luck with these machines. And it's like, well, if you're going to be anti-right to repair, then, what the heck am I supposed to do?
That is another thing. And it's not, we can not exclude bamboo, but they don't get any specialty because they're one of just many.
Right.
All these enclosed Core XYs that are coming out, no repairability.
Yeah.
Like I've got the X Smart 3 on the ground here. I got the X or the X.
I have an X Plus 3 in a box.
You need to come up with better names for your printer.
Yeah. I really wanted that X Max 3, but
it's huge. I've got the X Smart here and it's massive.
Dude, I
couldn't get it in the door. I
have a legitimate project need for a printer the size of the X Max 3. And nope, they said, we'll send you a Plus. I'm like, all right, fine.
So getting the Plus in here. So this house, the basement was finished by the previous owner. So the doors are the cheapest, smallest ones you can buy.
Yeah.
And if I was holding the box by the handles, right? So my arms are on the outside. I couldn't get it in the door. I had to like put it on the ground and like shove it in and that's not even the big one.
Yeah.
These printers are huge.
So my standing set's in my garage. So I should have opened the garage door and pushed it in. So I did get lucky there, but eventually it's going to end up going on the shelf behind me. But I am actually actively trying to replace that machine, the Fusion 3 F410, with something because that is Core XY, but it's slow. It does not use belts. It does. I can't. It runs a Duet first off, and it's not an open source firmware. It is a locked.
If it's Duet, you can put Clipper on a Duet.
They don't let you download their firmware, and if you change the firmware, when you get service on it, they ask you for it. Nope, they'll know. So
what you do is you just buy the controller board. You just unplug it.
I was thinking, I'm just gonna get another Duet and swap it. Yeah. But it doesn't use belts.
Is it lead screw or ball screw?
Spectra line.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So it's so weird. And it has a 1 meter long Bowden tube. So, there's that problem too.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it Text-Tech? So the Bamboo AMS is functionally better than the IRCFA. In my opinion, so the reason the AMS, what Bamboo really, I'll be honest, they knocked it out of the park with the AMS itself. Is it because it has the built-in buffer. It automatically rewinds the spools. So the big problem with the IRCFA, and it has the same issue as the MMU, is when you eject the old filament, that filament just kind of goes bleh.
Yep.
So you need something to either buffer it up or rewind the spool. And there are systems to do it. But a lot of them are they're not compact, they're big, they're bulky, they're annoying, they take up room, they don't work the greatest. The AMS automatically rewinds and unwinds the spools as it feeds and unloads. So
the integration for that is truly one of the best out there that I've ever seen.
And they cut the filament too. The fact that they cut the filament.
Cleanly.
Now the downside to that, it is the most wasteful multi-material system out there. Because normally the problem again with the IRCFA and the MMU is when you retract the filament, you have to form the tip. So you have to it does like a feed unfeed thing where it slightly melts the tip. And so when it pulls it out, you don't get this stringy blobby mess that when you go to feed that back in, it jams. That was a big problem I had when I was playing with the Enraged Rabbit carrot feeder back in the day. Was at first I was getting all these jams. Then I switched to a Revo and it actually worked really good. But Bamboo just says F it. And they just chop the filament just above the hot end. and they pull it out. So you always get a clean cut. So it feeds back in great. The problem is now you have all that extra filament in the hot end that needs to be purged out. So what you save in, what you gain in reliability and ease of use, you lose in time and purge amount, which is why when people can ask me what, how do I think of a Bamboo with the AMS compared to, say, a Prusa XL, you can't compare them because they're completely different systems. One is a single nozzle multicolor system, and I know I call it multi-material. Everyone calls it multi-material.
You can do really multi-material, but it's not reliable.
It's not, because imagine you're trying to print something with two different temperatures. If they're close enough, it's not too bad. But if you're like drastically different temperatures, what if you retract something that needs to be printed cold, and then you need to put in something that needs to fit, or or vice versa. You pull out something that's printed hot, and then you need to feed in something that's printed colder. So say you're going from ABS to PLA.
Yep.
Well, when the nozzle has to drop to PLA temperatures before it puts PLA in, but now you have ABS in there that doesn't flow as well. So now you might get a jam. Or if you're printing with dissimilar materials or something like a dissolvable filament. So what'll happen is you have cross-contamination.
Yep.
Where you have to purge even more, because you don't want your dissolvable filament in your non-dissolvable filament.
Even 1%. And like the argument for me was like the PLA parts of PETG supports, or the other way around, where it's just the interface layers are the dissimilar material. If you have even a 1% contamination, it is enough to cause significant reduction in part strength, part quality, and you will notice it by looking at the part itself. You'll notice if it's a PLA part with the PETG, you'll notice it being shiny where the contamination is, and vice versa with PLA interface with the PETG part. And that's where a tool changer that has one material per nozzle period is infinitely, theoretically, more reliable, less waste, faster because there's no purging involved, or the only purging that you have is it's pressure.
A prime. It does. Yeah, you do usually want to run a prime tower, just because once you park a nozzle, there's always a chance it could droop some filament a bit, and you don't want it to go, when it goes to start, have that little under extrude a little bit. So
that happens with my Bamboo all the time. When the AMS feeder overloads. Why? I have no clue. Even on Bamboo spools, it overloads. Bone stock, it overloads. With mods, it overloads. It just hates me. I don't know. Fuck this printer. I don't like it. It's just continually a problem. It's like, oh, it's working. Then it fails like 6 prints in a row. I'm like, cool, it hates me again.
You need to old yeller it, I think.
Yeah, well,
Just stop trying. Just stop trying.
It's $1,600 of my money. I bought it. It's a lot of money. Had it been given to me, I can fit 5 pounds of tannerite in that thing without even thinking.
It wouldn't even pay itself off before you get rid of it.
Exactly. It's like it has paid for itself, to be clear. It is more than paid for itself. In fact, it paid for itself again this last week. But it also took 3 days longer to do the build than it should have, because it failed so many times. And that frustration at a certain point is no longer worth like the effort. Yeah. And 5 pounds of tannerite will make it functionally evaporate and is $30.
Hey, just make it a pay-per-view, and you might be able to offset the cost.
Well, I got to find a place where I can, put 5 pounds of tannerite in something that's made of steel and plastic. Yeah,
you don't want to end up like that one guy on that. I can just see you putting the tannerite in there, and the Live Leak logo just starts appearing in the corner.
Well, that we would probably honestly have that like pre-done as a thing that we could just click a button on the stream and the Live Leak logo comes up. Because then, or we would clip it, and that's what we would use. That would just be that would just be funny. Alan Mitchell says, "Think of the cross audience views on a Bamboo tannerite video." What's funny is
that video would get like banger numbers, because you're gonna have so many people hate watch that video too.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. It's like, part of me wants to, but the other part of me says I have another broken Bamboo in my garage that no one's ever seen. Yeah, there's another one, and I bought it secondhand, so Bamboo doesn't even know that I own it. That's the one we're going to be working to try to fix or deal with the encryption on the motherboard.
Sporluck, use a DJI own and drop explosives on it. I am pretty sure that violates
Federal crime.
That's a federal crime. I'm not
Yeah,
an American, and I know you guys love your cowboy pew pew, but I'm pretty sure weaponizing an aerial device, you get the FAA involved. You probably get ITAR involved.
Oh,
also,
you're getting ITAR involved.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if they'll allow it because it's DJI attacking a bamboo. The firmwares, they might realize they're friends.
The Spintrol
and
MCUs won't work that close together.
They'd be like, no, ape, don't kill ape or whatever, and they won't kill each other.
Wait a minute. What if we... Oh, I gotta find a way to address the bamboo LCD screen if we do this. So we can have it say, I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. And then we fake a jam. The amount of dumb, like the amount of times I've wanted to Florida man it is higher than I care to admit. But it's like every now and then it has that one or two redeeming quality, right?
Here's the thing.
It's like watching Joe Rogan. The guy's an absolute psychopath, but every now and then it's like, I don't disagree with that.
Here's the thing. So for those that don't know about the whole DJI thing, Bamboo is founded by all former DJI. Yes. They say they're completely separate. I believe they probably have the same VC capital flowing through them both. It makes the most sense considering they use a lot of the same components. So here's the thing. I critique Bamboo, but I critique them on things that I feel are valid critiques, right? Yes. When the machine was smoking during a live stream of mine,
valid,
and wasn't thermally running away for several minutes,
valid.
Oh, I didn't know it was 3 minutes. Nobody knew it was 3 minutes. They didn't tell anyone it was 3 minutes. So yes, they have issues. I still recommend like the P1S is currently my most recommended printer in that price range because it's amazing bang for the buck.
Yeah,
and
I don't think
for the record,
better value.
I fly DJI FPV systems in my quads because it just works. Like they got issues, but they just work.
And like that's the thing. I've got 3 people that have been emailing me. One of them was the subject of a big post on the Bamboo Facebook group where their printer had been delivered to Bamboo in Austin, Texas. Somebody else had gone to Bamboo's headquarters. I don't know why they were there, but they were there. The office was empty, and the printer was sitting out there for 3 days. Why? I don't know.
So do they have a repair facility in the U.S. or they just have like a remote office just to say they have an office?
am told that it was pretty much an empty warehouse because I was actually in Austin, Texas to scan the U.S. women's soccer team a few months back. And I'm like, great. I would love to go there and just tour it, right? See what it's all about. Because like if I can get a better idea of where some of these QA and QC issues can exist, then I can look at presenting a way to solve it either to the company or to the end users. I don't know which one is the more valuable option, but I was told by Bamboo staff members that don't waste your time. It's basically an empty warehouse. There's not much there. So yeah, it's...
So here's my thing. When it comes to you want to know what it boils down to, it's a new company moving into a new industry with a first gen product. That's what it is. They knocked it out of the park with certain things. Their price point, even the X1, like before the X1 came out, if you wanted a upper tier 3D printer, you were looking at something like the Cheaties that
Easy.
were $1,500, $2,000, $2,500, right?
Easy.
So they come out with an enclosed all-in-one package Core XY high-speed machine.
The price point's
Wi-Fi functional with $1,000, and then they have the P1P, which is literally just an X1 with everything cheaper and the panels left off. And then they found the panels, so now they're putting the panels back on, and they call it the P1S. They're both exactly the same machine. It's just the controller board's different, and they swapped out a few components. They're frame-wise, they're the same machine.
Yeah. And like,
but it's
that's
a first
so
gen
valuable.
Product. Yeah. But I think what it is we'll just call this whatever VC fund realized, hey, the 3D printing market has had its boom. Okay. During COVID, oh no, I said the word.
Whatever.
During
we're 46 minutes in.
Yeah. everyone had spare money because nobody was traveling.
Yep.
Look at Voron. We have 47,000 people on the Voron Discord now, right? 10,000.
That's why I haven't rejoined it. There's so many people.
So 3D print, at-home 3D printing kind of blew up during lockdowns. We saw massive growth in the Voron community. All pretty much open source projects had banger growth during that time. The VZ Bot, Annex, all of them, massive growth. But the thing is, the response from the established commercial industry was, hello, good sir. So today we have our, here's our V-wheel bed flinger, and we have some racing stripes on the side.
Ooh,
and these
racing
fins are
stripes?
Cool. And now it has a flex plate and a touch screen.
Ooh.
But it's still the same machine as the one we had last year. So the commercial market was stagnant AF, in my opinion.
Yep.
You had the Prusa Mark III, which is printer of the year 5 years in a row for some flipping reason. It's not a bad machine, but holy shit, it's a dinosaur.
It is. As I'm running dinosaurs behind me, but you know.
Yeah. So the commercial market was stagnant AF. Okay. There was no innovation. All the innovation was in the open source side, right? Voron, the Voron V0, the Switchwire, the Trident, V2.4, those are all like just, within a year,
right,
by a bunch of guys in their basement just designing stuff for fun. Like Switchwire was developed in a month, okay, as a capstan machine. And then Max realized capstan was stupid and switched it to belt drive in another month. And then we spent like a couple months working on the manual. But like the actual machine was designed in a month. It hasn't changed.
I love how this community will just like get headstrong on getting something done, and then they'll just get it done way faster, and then all of a sudden it dies.
So we have the advantage though of you don't have to worry about, once we design something, because people are like, oh, it's not cost effective. We don't care. We design the printer we want. We take the design, go, here you go, build it, and we let LDO figure out the logistics of making a kit viable.
Which is like literally the best way to do it, period. Like there's just no point.
We make no money. Worst company in the world. We're losing money.
Wait, I thought you weren't a company.
Voron is okay. Technically, there's a company due to like some licensing issues we're dealing with, but I'm not going to get into. Let's deal with that shit. Like if anyone the team wanted to sell Voron kits, they could.
Right.
Anyone can open up a shop and sell Voron kits. Nothing is stopping anyone. I think we had an F.
Yeah, we did. We're back up. We were down for about 2 seconds.
So nobody is stopping anyone from selling Voron kits. It's an open source commercially, like you could open for commercialization. So those that took advantage. So the thing is though, on the actual off-the-shelf commercial printers, the market was stagnant. Prusa again had issues getting the sourcing issue with Prusa, because remember, Prusa cares about having long-term support for their stuff, right? So I could still buy parts for this Mark III. It's a 5-year-old printer. 5 years from now, I'll be able to buy parts for my Mark IV, right? They kind of care about that thing versus some other companies that have a new printer every 3 months and then they just sunset constantly, or they change the control boards every week. So Prusa's delayed on the Mark IV coming out. XL's delayed.
Everything is just indefinitely delayed at this point.
And then all of a sudden, somebody goes, "Hey, what if we just come out with a machine that just, a premium consumer machine in that price point that, hey, is fast," because speed benchies are the thing now, right? How fast can you make a shitty boat? That goes fast, has Wi-Fi, so we can scrape all the data to help offset the costs, and just works.
We might be working on a model ourselves to go after the benchy. It's my cat. Here, I'll actually show it on the live stream. It's my cat holding a feather. This is one of the older models of it, but there's a lot of measurable components on it to help dial in printers, and it's a bastard for overhangs. It's a long print. It's a really long print, but so yeah, it's gonna be the logo, but we're gonna call it a Zoomy because it's got a cat on it, and that's gonna be the speed version of it. And our Discord has been pivotal in helping us design this, because we'll once every couple of weeks we'll just, at everyone in the Discord and say, hey, we're going to get together and keep working on the Victoria model. Come hop in. And we get like 12, 13 people in there hanging out as we're just going through and working on it, because it's part of the deal.
Nice. But yeah,
because like no one uses the benchy for the reason everything is measurable. It's not just a boat, and I know it doesn't float, and that's honestly frustrating.
If you get two of them, they snap together, though.
They do snap together, I know, but like at least measure stuff on it, because like, ooh, you can print it fast, but is it accurate? Is it accurate? Like Chris Catlett from our Discord posted a picture of a benchy done on an SV06 Plus from the Clipper Discord that had a 10-minute flat benchy on an SV06 Plus, 15K acceleration on that. And it's like, it looked, I mean, up until it got to the smokestack, it actually looked half decent, but then it looked like complete and utter ass. And it's like, well, what's the point? Speed, all the speed. But like, if it looks like crap, right? It's like taking my 21-year-old Honda that's sitting out there and putting a V12 Ferrari engine in it. You're gonna go fast, but you're looking like crap doing it, kid.
Yeah.
Like,
so here's the thing. So consumer market completely stagnant. Anyone could have been Bamboo. Okay. I mean, Come on. Cheaty's got enclosed Core XYs they're coming out with now. Creality's doing it. Everyone's doing it. So obviously it wasn't we unlocked the new tech tree because, it's new. It's like, no, anyone could have done this. It just, everyone was happy selling the same shit over and over again with minimal upgrades. And it finally took the company to...
It was Intel before Ryzen came out. It's what this was. And then as soon as Ryzen came out, everyone started paying attention to AMD again.
Because everyone was happy. You look at every YouTuber was like, oh, just buy that cheap Ender 3 and then I'll be able to make videos to the end of time telling you how to upgrade it and fix it.
But like, they're not wrong though. The content of upgrading Ender 3s, like I have two crappy Ender 3s that we bought in the early stages of the channel to do an entire like 9 or 10 video upgrade series. Those printers are going away. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm giving them away. By the way, if anyone lives near Tampa and wants printers, let me know.
That's something I don't do on my channel. I do the content I want on my channel. So I've done Clipper tutorials and I've done tutorials for things I like. But people have asked me to do can you do like an Ender setup video? I'm like, no, go watch Chep. He's done it already.
But they're so boring. Like I've tried, and like we're keeping like I have an Ender 3v2. I will keep that around because that's great for doing the maintenance videos, right? Where we talk about, because like for some reason, I have to redo the maintenance videos once every year and a half, because if the videos are so old, they don't get traction.
Yeah.
But the problem is something that we see all the time. It's why we started Print Fix Friday. This week is week 100 that we have done those episodes in a row. And every major number is a joke episode. So this is going to be a meme episode. 104 will be another meme episode because that is 2 years. 69 was the last meme episode because, of course. But like, we see the same stuff over and over and over again. And I think it's honestly because people don't know what they're missing because they don't know what to look for, right? How often do you get the same question in streams where you've either covered it earlier in the stream or you have a dedicated video on it and you're like, go watch this video. They're like, oh, I have no idea that's what it was called.
Yeah. I think I counted up to at least 16 people asked me yesterday on the stream if I was putting Clipper on this. And at the very beginning of the stream, hey, I'm going to put Clipper on this at some point. And about 16, 17 people throughout the stream, at least that I saw, are you putting Clipper on it? So yeah, you get that all the time. And it's funny, once you're in the industry for a while, seeing the same trends come around. Like you'll see, and it's hilarious because how do I say this without
wet filament?
You'll see wet filament, but it's a cycle. So what'll happen is somebody will be like, hey, I'm going to be a 3D printing YouTuber. Okay. I'm fresh on the scene. Okay. Here's my top 10 print video you need. Here's my 5 upgrades for this printer you need video. Here's my safety precaution video. It's like a checklist that once you're a 3D printing YouTuber, you have to do these 10 things. You have to make a video about this. You have to make, everyone's done it already.
Yep.
You need your version of, hey, this is where I put my tools. Hey, this is how I organize this. This is like, everyone needs to do their video of it. And it's just like a checklist content. And
well, don't worry. You and I still haven't done the I'm burned out video that most content creators
do
at some point.
I need to do that at some point.
Yeah. When's our Linus crying stream?
But it's like a checklist. And every now and then I'll see a new YouTuber come into the scene in this field and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to wait. Oh, there it is. There's their top 10 mods for the Ender.
And to be clear, I did a lot of videos like that because guess what? They get views. I don't give a damn. They get views. And at a certain point when you're trying to grow a channel, you got to do stuff that gets views.
But here's the thing. So I think this will be a good tangent into something we were talking before the stream.
Yep.
I don't look at my metrics. When I live stream, I don't look at my numbers. I check my YouTube what's it called? The YouTube studio page, maybe once every couple days. I never go to my channel analytics. Maybe once a week I'll check and see how my sub count was. Like I really don't care about my metrics because metrics don't mean shit anymore on YouTube. Ever since shorts came out, they don't mean anything. View count, sub count doesn't mean anything anymore on YouTube.
You and I, it doesn't. To the companies that want to work with us, they only like. And I had a talk with Nick from Polymaker about this. He's like, because sub count is pretty much the only public metric that we can see as companies that want to work with creators, unless this creator has a good fan base and they're a small kind of unknown channel, and that fan base reaches out to us. We have no idea because at the end of the day, that's the only metric the companies have. And I don't really blame them. Right?
Oh, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's true. But as somebody who's already in this field now, it's like, okay, so I fire up my channel. I do my top 10 upgrade video. I do my mods to get video. I do my list of best printers. I do my, I got to do my Prusa is shit. Don't buy a Prusa. Wait, now buy a Prusa because the Mark IV came out video.
Didn't CNC Kitchen just put out the video about the MK4 being the best, or who just did that?
CNC Kitchen, Stefan.
I don't know if it was him.
Go watch his video. He put out a video yesterday about doing the clear little cap, machining the clear little cap for the Mark IV so you can see the extruder gears.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That was something I was planning to do. I mentioned it like during the build. I'm like, I'm going to do this video. I'm going to make like a little clear cap and I'm going to make a video. And then he just goes and does it. No, I don't want to do a video on it
like
anymore.
They should have come with a clear cap. Let's be honest with ourselves. It should have come with a clear cap.
I want to see the gears.
Thank you. I want to see the gears too.
So I'm like, damn it. As soon as that popped in my inbox, I'm like, well, there goes my motivation to do that now. Shit. But you do that, and then you put out a bunch of shorts, hoping a couple of them go viral. You pump out your sub numbers, which don't mean anything anymore. Nope. But now you have a channel with 50,000, 100,000 subs. Your view count is the same as everyone else on your normal videos. Your likes and whatever on your normal videos is the same as somebody with a channel half your size. But the numbers are good. So now you get your sponsors and whatnot. And now every video has a sponsor. So it's kind of weird because I don't follow that at all. I do primarily live streams. I do the odd short occasionally. Those don't, I don't know. I do shorts because I want to. I do videos. I try to do a video a week. That doesn't happen too often, but I do a video when I want to do a video.
I do 2 edited videos a week and a live stream a week.
Well, I do 3 live streams a week. So technically I'm horrible. I should be using my live streams. I should be clipping my live streams for shorts. I should be having a separate channel where my live streams get condensed down to a 10 to 15 minute video after every stream. There's a whole much more I should be doing.
Editors are expensive.
Editors are expensive and I hate editing.
Me too. That's why I have an editor.
Yeah. So my channel works because I'm a very firm believer, especially in a niche field like we have here, where it is better to have a small dedicated audience and do the content you want than to try and break out and be a content leader in a slightly bigger field, in my opinion.
Yep.
Because especially now with Patreon, YouTube memberships were huge when they rolled those out. YouTube memberships, gifted memberships, direct donations, merch.
You make way more money doing that.
Your ROI is ridiculous. like I can go.
We're doing
live.
merch.
Yeah.
Like it's happening.
So here's the thing, like why I have a hard problem doing videos too. Let me pull up my channel here. Let me pull up my video. So my Tico video, that is 2 weeks ago. It's got 15,000 views.
I'm still pissed off that you got that printer because I had messaged the person that was selling it saying, I don't care what you charge me. I will pay it. I want that printer. They said, Nero just got it. I'm like, son of a bitch. I wanted a Tico for so long because they're so terrible.
But that video is my top video in the past 2 months.
Mine are about bamboo.
Oh.
Hey, look. Actually, the top video in the past 2 months is the Precisizer 2.6 video with like 35,000 views. And then the Bamboo 6-month review is number 2 on that, I believe.
There you go. So yeah. So that video, I took I spent a couple days printing parts. Okay. So printing things on the printer.
Yep.
And then I spent a morning recording that video and then an afternoon editing that video. So we'll say probably about 8 to 9 hours of actual work to make that video in terms of like if you counted me going out there, slicing something, it failing, getting B-roll footage, editing it all together, recording it, 8 to 9 hours for that video for $50. That's how much AdSense I've made on that video. I don't have sponsored spots in my videos. So I literally made $50 on that.
We're working on that. I really like, you know, we have one sponsor. I'd like to get a few more. Let's see. June. Yep. June 21st is when the 2.6 video came out. The Bamboo video. Oh, I thought it had more than this. It has 19,000 views, but it's made $99.
Yeah.
So it's a high CPM, but I think there was some fan funding on that too.
So yeah, so that's the thing. So
by the way, that didn't pay for the editing on that project.
Exactly, that's the thing. You're making less than minimum wage. I'm making less than American minimum wage.
I'm making negative money. I'm losing money every month on YouTube.
So yeah, it brings in. I do find I get a higher return on new subs to the channel, on videos and subs or shorts than I do a live stream. But that doesn't like this channel is my job. It pays my mortgage and my car payment and all that stuff, food on the table. So when I look at it, it's like I can either, you know, if I want to do, here's my problem. And I've seen this happen with a lot of other streamers, not even in just the 3D printing field. So I watch a few other streamers, and I model a lot of the way I run my live streams off of Twitch streamers. That's why I always have music in the background. That's why I'm always engaging with chat.
I have to do that. That Stream Beats thing. I have to do it.
Stream Beats. I think there's backing tracks. There's a few different ones. But you have to basically, when people ask me, like I've seen it happen where I'm live and I'm on a tangent. We're going down that rabbit hole. I thought this was part 7 of the wiring on a Tico stream or whatever. And it's like, no. The stream is a show. Okay. My stream, when you turn into a stream,
we're just hanging out
into a show.
Yep.
Now, granted, there is a subject of the show. Okay. But it's kind of like Family Guy. Okay. and shit's just going to happen. Okay. Because you've seen it.
Oh gosh.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
The worst thing you could do if you're a streamer, and I see other people in other 3D printing channels and other tech channels too, that have sub counts and viewer numbers way larger than me. But when they go live, there's like 20 people there, 30 people. And a week later that they might have 800 views on the stream. And you tune into the stream and it's just.
Yep.
No music, no noise, no nothing. It's just boring.
I
barely talk to chat.
It's part of what I need to do.
You have to make it a show. You have to constantly be talking. You have to assume somebody is joining your stream every second. And if they don't have that bite, that grab to keep them entertained within 10 to 15 seconds, they leave. They're gone. So the fact that I can go live and keep 300 to 500 people at any given moment on a normal live stream for me entertained, when it's like, hey, today I got nothing. We're just going to faff about with this printer and whatever happens, happens, and for 3 hours straight. that takes time because again, I'm at 325-ish live streams. My first live streams were horrible. Go back and watch some of my first live streams. They are brutal.
Oh, mine were too. Mine were too.
You need good audio.
Yeah,
You
got
need,
that.
The camera just needs to be good enough to see what you're doing.
We've got great audio here.
Oh yeah, audio's amazing.
This is, of course,
I like
the
the
seated
lab
set, but you know.
Yeah, you're seated. So for me, I at first I had just had a boom mic with the gain just cranked, so it could pick me up from 5 feet away because I move around a lot, right? Like I don't sit still when I'm streaming. I move around a lot. So that's why I went to lavs. So with lavs, I can wander around. So that's the thing. So for me, I view all of this as, this is a job for me, right? Things, there was a marked difference in the way I do things when I became a full-time YouTuber because, hey, I have to pay bills.
It's a business now. Yeah, it's no longer a hobby. It's a business.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here's the thing. And again, we're circling back. I've seen other streamers do this where there's a few streamers that I watched that used to be big on YouTube. And now they just stream. They don't do the YouTube thing. And here's the problem. Here's the conundrum. It's the ROI. I could spend, if for example, where is it? Okay, right here. This is a CNC tap. Okay. Somebody sent it to me. It's a CNC version of the Voron tap. Okay. They have an Etsy store. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm going to be putting this in this machine because this is running this is a 2.4, not 2.4 R1, not R2. This is 2.4 running inductive probe. It's the old setup. It's even got the dual MGN9. So I've got an MGN12 here. I got the tap here. So we're going to be doing a whole rebuild of this machine for some upgrades. Now, here's the thing. Here's my conundrum. Do I spend 10 to 20 hours doing all those upgrades, okay, for a video? So I spend 10 to 20 hours doing the upgrades, recording it all, setting up camera angles, recording everything, then spend a whole day editing that video, putting that video out. If I'm lucky, I'll make $100 on that video.
Yep.
If I'm
and it
lucky.
ain't worth your time.
Yeah. So I work for 20 something hours, so maybe more, to make one video that, hey, if it does really good, it'll get 10,000 views in a day. That's like my best ever. Was my best video ever in terms of like initial was the V2 video, the V24 video. So when I put out the V24 video,
oh yeah, that's fair. That was a good one.
The first video. So that video, I recorded it that day, one take, edited in the hotel and uploaded it. And it's currently only sitting at like 50,000 views. It popped off for the first couple days and then it went flat.
That's about right.
So it got, within a week, it got 42,000 views. Okay. So 42,000 views in a week. My best video ever in a week. Okay. For $127. Okay. Just to let you know. So if that did the same, would you work for 24 hours for $127? Would you?
Not a snowball's chance in hell, buddy.
So here's the thing.
I mean, I have, but I don't want to.
Or I could turn this into 2 or 3 live streams.
I like the streams because if I'm going to do the effing work anyways, why don't people just come along with me? Do it live, right? Like I need to. So of course I was one of the, hey, FlexiSpot wants to send you a desk. I'm like, cool, I could use a new desk.
Okay. Okay. So this is hilarious because you get the same email as me.
Yeah, we get the same emails.
We all get. So
we should talk more about that stuff when that stuff happens. By the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I got the same FlexiSpot email. I don't have room for desks, so I haven't replied, but I might do it for the wife. The wife needs a new desk. So it is hilarious when a company reaches out to everyone and then like
randomly the videos start popping up. I saw Mandic's
everyone
video.
starts doing the video and
shit,
it's like,
he got one too.
He got the email too. They got, and the best is, and this is like, I don't know if it's Schadenfreude, but you get those emails where the offer is like, yeah, this is like a paid promo video with like a sketchy contract. And you're basically being paid to like hype this up and you decline it because you're a good soul and you got business, integrity. And then you start seeing who takes that offer and you're like, yep, that makes sense. And you're like, yep. Yeah.
It's like, we agreed with FlexiSpot. I am definitely not 2 months late on that video. Oops. I agreed to it for a really dumb reason that makes a lot of sense when you know me. I have a bad back. And a standing desk is great because I can put it all the way down, lift the big heavy box onto it, then make the desk do the work, which is not what they're designed for, but it will work just fine to do that. It is also slightly shorter than my current table. I have a 2-inch thick or 3-inch thick Sam's Butcher Block 72 by 24-inch table out there that's height adjustable, but it's 4 bolts and you have to move the whole thing, then you put the bolts. It sucks to do it by hand.
Elizabeth, there, like
that's going to go behind me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Elizabeth there with the anchor made on Jerry Rig. So here's the thing. This is something else I wanted to bring up. They reached out to everyone. Yeah. So here's the thing, though.
You're getting one. I'm getting one too, right?
No. Here's the thing, though. We're getting video. We're getting printers to just show them off. Jerry Riggs' video was a sponsored video.
Well, and he also got his early, just like Joel got his early too. They get theirs ahead of time. And then they post them as soon as the embargo is lifted. People like you and I, we're not cool enough for that yet.
No, we just get them to show off.
Yeah, we get it later.
So here's the thing. I'm seeing this with a lot of companies. Bamboo's doing this. Anchor's doing this. They're not contacting the usual people that you would expect anymore. I know a few people that have been ghosted. I won't say you can infer which company, but I've spoken to several content creators that have been ghosted by their contacts at a few of these larger 3D printing companies. Because here's the thing. The 3D printing market already knows about these printers. Okay. Me and you, everyone watching here already knows about XYZ company, right?
Well, that's a company too. Come on.
Actually, okay. So you know what I mean, though? The market already has their awareness of these printers and whatnot. So what they're doing now is they're advertising these printers to people in the adjacent markets. The amount of FPV channels that I've seen that have received a Bamboo printer in the last couple of weeks is pretty much all of them. So there's that. Same with the Anchormate. They're branching out because they know marketing. These companies know how to market. So it's not like,
well, that's the trick, right?
And like all these, like
Creality didn't know how to market.
They're horrible at it.
They didn't know. They arguably still don't know how to market very well.
Yeah.
But it's the companies like Anchor. Anchor has a marketing company that makes products. Snapmaker is a marketing company that makes a 3D printer. Bamboo is a shill for the gut. Now I'm just gonna move on from that. But these are companies that are marketing that make hardware. It's like my Artec 3D scanners, right? Artec is a software company that also does some hardware. And the hardware is okay. The Leo is great, but it's 30 grand. The Eva is 10 years old, but it's 20 grand. And I use my Eva to scan the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Friday. It's totally fine and it works great. No video. Sorry. Can't film half-naked football players. And with most of our audience being dudes, it's not going to matter anyways. But, you know, it's... their software is what makes it amazing, right?
Yep.
It's...
So you're seeing it where, like, you had Creality, you had Cheaty, you had all these companies that basically were like within the 3D, like not the big ones, but they were just like in that sphere of 3D printing. And they were just the same people over and over and over. And you probably got how many emails where it's like, hey, review our printer. And you load up the email and just a picture of a generic Ender derivative. And you're like, cool, it's a V-wheel bed flinger.
Yeah.
There's a million of them. There's nothing special about it. Go away. Nope. But now we have companies that actually know kind of what they're doing and they have marketing budgets. Now here's the thing.
But do they know what they're doing, or are they just copying other companies that have done it well?
So here's the thing. It's all monkey see, monkey do. Because one of my biggest pet peeve right now with commercial printers is how reactionary everything is. Everything good that has come out of Bamboo since the machine came out has come out because people have bitched about them.
Or yelled them for not doing it the right way.
Hey, your thermal runaway takes 3 minutes to kick in. Everyone else is like 30 seconds. What the hell? Oh, okay, we'll fix that. Hey, how come I can't use my webcam on LAN only mode? Oh, okay, we'll fix that. Hey, what about this feature?
Update over USB or SD card when? Yeah, so I can update my damn printer?
So that's the thing. Everything is heavily reactionary.
But honestly, I'm not going to update it until we crack the encryption. So if we do update it and it breaks our crack, we know they're absolutely obscuring data that they're collecting, and then I get an attorney.
Well,
because they have a USA Nexus.
Yeah, shouldn't you be able, like, hasn't anyone from the EU just requested all the information they've collected?
They have, yeah. I don't have anyone that sent it to me yet.
Okay.
We just had someone send us all the packet pulls from a software update, from a firmware update. So they did a full packet capture of the. I will have to let you into our Discord server so you can see some of the stuff that we've collected.
Okay.
But there is a lot of stuff that we know about it, but there's the one step that we don't know. It is how you get the Spintroll MCU into decrypt mode. And then there's a USB port on the MCU board. It's a micro USB port.
So here's the problem.
We don't know what the pinout is.
You're going to have as much luck as that as putting Betaflight on a DJI Mavic.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yep.
But here's the thing. So the thing is, 3D printing is now becoming commercialized, right? Like it was great in the days, where everything was open source and everyone could mod and whatever. Now everything is becoming harder to fix. Everything's coming locked down. Like, yes, clippers on these printers. I am absolutely terrified of clipper on these machines.
Me too.
One, because they're not running normal clipper.
Nope.
Most of them are running the older clipper. So they're running clipper 10 for some reason. I don't know why. It's not hard just to run normal off-the-shelf clipper. Okay, just do it. Okay, let the companies deal with the, like, you can change the interface to go, hey, we don't recommend you update it or something. You can change the interface. You can change that. Just run normal off-the-shelf clipper 11. Okay, just run the normal clipper. Okay, but no, they're going in there. They're changing stuff. So now they're pulling updates from servers in the cloud. So here's the problem. What do you need to run clipper?
Internet connection.
You need well, no, technically no. You don't. You can run clipper standalone. But you need a computer. You need a Raspberry Pi or equivalent. You need an actual computer in your printer. And most people unbox, plug in, connect to network. So now you have a computer on your home network that is pulling updates from the cloud. Now, here's the thing.
God knows what's in those updates.
Exactly. You have webcams on your printers, okay? It's connected to your home network. You got Unraid servers. You got, depending on your Windows settings, you got your network has something installed. Go watch the LTT video on Android boxes, okay? Here's what I worry about. You do not need to, let's be honest, you probably don't need to worry about Creality.
No, because I don't think they're smart enough to have the problem.
You don't need to worry about Cheaty, okay? But what you need to worry about is somebody hacking these people.
Yep.
Because if a credit card company or Amazon or a big store that has, billions of dollars in revenue, if they can get hacked and get all their user info dumped to the darknet, how long before whoprintedwhat.com comes up? Yeah. And I could pull up a live webcam feed of every printer within a specific company's network, along with, webcam feed, a full history list of everything they've ever printed, the files, the outcome, all their network information.
All the Bamboo fanboys said they didn't care if their printer saw them walking around the house without pants on, might have a different change of tune when that actually does occur.
What I don't get is all the like, I'm not American, but I enjoy my pew pew. All the whole 3A people, 3A DP or whatever the heck they call it, or 2A or whatever the heck it's called. They love Bamboos.
They do.
What the?
I all it takes.
Uncle Sam can go up to Bamboo and be like, "Hey, Warren, give us all the information on this person that's ever been printed," because they have it.
Well, of course they do. Because and they're running it through an Amazon AWS server before it goes to the Chinese servers that are hosted via Alibaba, which has had multiple issues with the federal government regarding data collection. Oh, wow.
So that's the problem. An enclosed Bamboo only sees what's inside.
I don't care.
Until you print the mod to move your camera, or it's a P1P that isn't enclosed, or it doesn't matter. It's still a printer in your house.
It's showing what I'm printing. It's got openings to my network. The amount of people that and I get it. right?
And again, this isn't Bamboo. This is any printer.
This is any printer,
connected to the
right?
internet.
The amount of people that have a home network that have put a printer on it that don't understand what it takes to make that network secure to a legitimate level. And I'm not talking about, oh, we're not going to go SOC 1 or SOC 2 level, here. Like, that's ridiculous for a home user. But how many home users have an actual firewall set up? How many of them are using a password that is difficult to crack? How many of them have actually attempted to brute force enter their own network? How many of them have done a penetration test to see what their network is exposed to? What ports are open? I would argue that the vast majority of people that have 3D printers on a network do not do any of that.
Yep.
And that is the problem, because then, just like how the Bamboo has an open over-the-air protocol, it is open.
Yep.
So that at any time they can send it an update. That update can include some form of botnet, some sort of crawler, some sort of bad behaving system that will get in the way and produce problems for you as an end user that are now your responsibility because you agreed to this.
Yeah, or the Clipper machines, All they need to do is just change something on that server. So when you pull that update, now that completely changes the behavior of the computer, and it can now download whatever, do whatever. It's on your network. How much damage? If somebody here, anyone here knows network security, if I were to take a Raspberry Pi, okay, so imagine somebody with a Raspberry Pi and it'd say, I'm going to connect this to your network. Do you have to let me connect it to your network? How much damage can I do with a Raspberry Pi on your average home network?
So much damage.
Okay,
it's
now
not
all
even
these
funny.
printers have it.
So much damage.
And now all these printers have them.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. These all have Raspberry Pi. I set these up. They're running normal Clipper. I'm on my home network with my security precautions and whatnot.
You can always put them on a different VLAN as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then people can be like, well, then I'm just going to merge my two VLANs. Well, then your computer becomes the jump from the air gap network to the non-air gap network. You've ruined it.
What happens to little Timmy who goes and buys a Sonic pad, right?
Yep.
Like, this thing hasn't been on since it tried to burn my house down. But like that's the problem with these is we are woefully unaware, or the vast majority of people are woefully unaware of what can happen and the potential that can happen. And look at Eufy, look at Anchor and Eufy. With all that data breach. Okay?
Don't worry, we're talking about that on Wednesday. Shh.
Yeah. So that's the problem. So again, you have I don't know how big Bamboo is. I don't know what their actual install base is.
Like how many machines are shipped, or
yeah, like you can take a look on the App Store to see how many times the Handy app has been downloaded. It's over 10,000, but it's not at 100,000.
I would argue that they likely have close to 100,000 printers out there at this point, because they've gotten the distribution through Micro Center, they've gotten it through Matter Hackers. Yeah. I firmly believe that they're getting close to 100,000. I mean, their team has grown, to over 300 people in a year, and this is all amazing. I am so happy for them that they've seen this amazing success. But if they can't fix my printer, it's actually,
it's good for the industry because they finally put that kick in the butt to get things to advance. But now, instead of being, shitty generic V wheels, but you could fix them and open source machines, now everything is pivoting into straight up commercial machines where you can't change anything, you can't fix anything. When I went to Rapid TCT, I spoke with a hot end manufacturer, and they were like, straight up, we have a high flow hot end for Bamboo. Okay. Because the Bamboo hot end is higher flow, but it's not really a real high flow.
It's not. It's what? I don't believe it flows any faster than a V6. The only reason that it can flow faster than a V6
is their filament.
It's their 11 herbs and spices that they put into it.
Yeah. So a company had a legit high flow hot end developed for the Bamboo.
Yep.
It's drop-in compatible in anything. And they can't sell it because you can't run a PID tune on a Bamboo. Simple as that. If you were able to run a PID tune on a Bamboo, you would be able to buy a third-party high-flow hot end for that machine. You cannot.
Yep.
You can't change the thermistor type. You can't add a fan. You can't remove it. You can't change anything on that machine. Like the fact, you know what annoys me the most on that machine? If I want to move the bed, I have to go to the machine and go a million times.
And if you don't home it, it makes you click the home thing. Like, stop.
like the fact that I could fire up my printer, right? Okay. Are you online? You're online. Okay. You ready? Okay, cool. I can home it. Do I have anything in there? No. Good.
Checking to make sure he doesn't slam into things.
This is why I love tap.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do that. All right. Oh, it's booping your hand. At least it's not hot.
Oh, hey, I need to do maintenance on my printer.
Don't forget to clean your bed.
I need to move my hot end out of the way. X 200, Y 200, Z 200. Oh, look, I could just move it out of the way.
Yep. You have a console. Is it gonna rip?
I homed it a little too high. But yeah, like that's the thing. I can just tell it like,
yep.
As somebody who plays with DIY printers and has been around that industry for a while, I expect the machines to do what I tell them to do and behave a certain way. And you don't have that. So
no, you don't.
You don't.
And it's funny because
there's no terminal.
Now
there's
you're
no
enjoying this old Ultimaker. Hilariously, roughly, so about 2 weeks ago, I got shipped from a fan. He's in our Discord. He's like, there's an old Replicator 2 here for sale, like 20 miles away, and it's signed. We are almost positive it's signed by all the MakerBot people. It's got 4 signatures on it, and we've identified at least a couple of them as being top-level MakerBot people. But it is in such disrepair. It is missing motors. It is missing wiring. But I've got it now, and we're going to fix it on a stream soon, TM. There are so many streams I have to do before that thing even comes out of the box. But it's really cool to see someone else going down that path. But I get to do the fun thing that you don't. I get to actually try printing it inside where it's drier and outside where it is not dry and see what the differences are from the moisture for the wood printers and show why we don't do this anymore.
Yeah. So I'm this frame right here. This is an original Ultimaker, unbuilt. It's from 2014. So it is an original Ultimaker.
That's so cool.
But it's revision 4. So it's from 2014. So it's not quite 2011 era.
That's still cool.
But like this box was open. As best I can tell, the person I bought this kit from, I got this kit from England. Somebody on the Voron team who lives in England actually went to the guy, picked it up and shipped it to me.
That's cool.
But apparently they used to be a reseller. And this kit was a returned kit that was partially assembled. And by partially assembled, they got about 20 minutes into the assembly. And then they put it back in the box.
Bit off more than they could chew, probably.
So this box has been like unsealed for a while. So some of the wood was a little like you put it on a flat thing and it kind of does that. But once I got this actually together on my granite plate up in the garage, it's actually square. It is square. It sits flat.
I need to get a piece of granite. That's on my list.
Yeah. Don't get granite, get quartz. Granite sucks up oils, so get actual quartz. Go to a tabletop manufacturer, anywhere we can get tabletops, and just ask if you can dig through their offcut pile for a piece and offer to pay, and sometimes they'll even let you take it for free. Because
how big of a size should I be looking for? Because like I bought in some 1, 2, 3s, but how much?
Yay by yay.
Oh, yay by yay.
Yay by yay. Basically, you want it big enough that you can put together the frame of a printer.
I was figuring like a 2 foot square.
Yeah, mine is like 27 inches by like 19 inches or something.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Because like my current desk is 24 inches deep. The Flexi Spot desk is 30, but I don't know if I'd put a big chunk of quartz.
Well, it won't be as heavy as a layout table or a layout plate.
I do have access to a big damn stare-it fixture plate. Like,
well, I used to. When I built this
4
frame,
by 8 feet.
This is my original V2.4. When I put this frame together, I did it at work on the layout table there.
Nice.
So yeah. But the one I have is only like an inch thick. Like it's not layout table flat.
It's good enough.
But it's flat enough for what we're doing. So
Mike says I should go cut off a piece of my neighbor's countertop.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean it is Florida, so better take the countertop and the copper, right?
But that's the trend in the industry I'm not looking forward to the most, where the thing is these machines are coming out and they're pretty decent. Yeah. That's the thing. But you're as us that have been in the industry for a while, it's I think your opinion of them is based more on where you're coming from. So
it doesn't pass
like,
the sniff test as much as they used to, right?
Well, that too. But I mean, like, if you've only played around with that $99 ender that the YouTuber told you to buy, and your experience with 3D printing is every other print is just it's that Greek guy pushing the boulder up the hill, right?
Sisyphus.
And it's just your Sisyphus. There you go. So your experience with 3D printing is that, and all of a sudden you buy a P1P off the shelf for $5.99, it just freaking works, and you're like, oh my God, it's the future. It prints so fast. Oh my God.
And then you buy a Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon for $1,600. It doesn't work, and everybody says you're an effing moron. You should get rid of it because you're too stupid to use the industry. Because that's what my comments say. But everyone that now has a printer that's getting messed up, hi Sam, that is dealing with the BS, they're like, oh my God, you're not wrong. I'm like, I know I'm not wrong. It's like I'm not being paid by Prusa, because if I was, and I didn't tell you people, which I don't tell because I'm not being paid, I would be literally violating the FTC guidelines, which is a jailable offense. I can go to jail for it.
Yeah, it is actually, like, I love how many people call people like us shills.
Yeah, like, it is the law.
Companies.
We have to disclose it.
Even in Canada, like, even if I do a sponsored video, hi guys, today we are sponsored by Anchor. This machine is shit. Okay, I am not allowed. You are not allowed, even in a sponsored video, to say things. I can't remember the exact word, but you can't say things you don't believe. Okay, so if XYZ company sponsors a video from me, and I unbox their printer, I can go, hey, this is the specs of the printer, blah blah blah. They claim these are the things. Let's unbox it. And if it's printing like shit, and it looks like dog do, and my Tico's outperforming it, I can't go, wow, this is the best printer in the world. You should all buy one.
See, this is great because now you have...
It's illegal. Like, that is illegal.
I love that you have this shit printer to compare it to. It makes me so happy. Like, this thing works crappier than my Tico.
I'm printing off a whole set of generic, like, I'm printing off a benchy, a calibration cube, and a few other things. And I'm going to keep them in a set.
The Tico standard.
Like I'm going to have a gauge block set made up of the Tico standard. So if I review a printer, I will have reference. So like, I'll be honest, I'm trying to get Prusa to sponsor me right now for an XL because I can't afford that.
Same too.
But like, you know, as much as people, you know, oh my God, you're a Prusa shill. I've spoken to Prusa. They don't sponsor anything. Prusa doesn't sponsor stuff. Like, everyone who unboxes their, although Tom got his Mark IV for free, I had to buy mine.
Okay, but I don't have one yet. And, like, I don't need...
It was a fun build. Get the kit and build it.
Of course I'm going to get the kit. I'm a content creator. Come on.
I know. I think I might have broken even on that series. But the problem is it doesn't take that long to build.
I've built every one of the Mark IIIs, except we did buy one from Shane, of all things. But that's the only one that I bought pre-built because somebody else built it. All the other ones I buy as kits because it's like geek therapy for me, right? It's like cathartic just to sit there. Now, will I like doing it on camera? I don't know that.
If you get about 9 hours of live content out of it.
Well, why?
Plus the printing.
See, this is why I'm so afraid of the Voron, right? Because it is a lot of content, but I've never done it. I've built a big printer. Nobody has ever seen it on the stream because it was built way before I had a YouTube channel. It's a D-bot. Think of how old that is.
Oh God,
it's a D-bot. But Taylor, I made the smart move thinking, well, a 400 by 400 by 400 cube is X amount. Well, it's only like $80 to make it a meter tall. Let's do that. Without thinking about anything regarding the extra stiffness. The damn thing looks like it's got Parkinson's when it runs. So we're trying to fix that. And that's going to be a stream. But the printer is so heavy because it comes up past my waist.
Okay, so here's the thing. Building a Voron's easy.
Yeah, I assume
thousands of people have already done it. Joel has done it. Joel can do it. You can do it. Joel had help, man.
And Joel didn't do it on stream. And I think on stream adds that it's that +4 difficulty modifier, right? It's not going to 11, but it's going up.
But you also have chat. And chat can help a lot.
But that assumes they're not trying to see you fail.
Okay. I will say one of the reasons I live stream so much is because for people who watch my stream, I am not a software guy in the least. Okay. I when I play Elden Ring, I play the guy with the big stick and I hit stuff and I go bonk and I kill stuff that way. Big stick go
bonk.
Yep. So when it comes to software, I could Control C, Control V. If that don't work, I'm lost.
Dude, Clipper scares the hell out of me. And I know that it's easy, but it doesn't make it easier for me to feel comfortable about it.
So when I run into an issue, I can go, hey, chat, what should I do? Now, granted, half the time people in chat are dumb and they don't know what they're doing. They're just spamming random shit. But there are people that you stream long enough, you know the people that you can trust. And it helps a lot. So also, hey, oh shit, go back, you missed step 35. Oh, okay. Like
the time that I cut wires live on a stream accidentally.
Did they spark?
No. The printer wasn't plugged in or anything. I was building the Flying Bear Reborn 2, and it said to cut the profile short. So I went to cut it was like the cable cover stuff.
Yep.
I went to cut it short, but the cable was still in the cover apparently. Then I had to prove how good my soldering skills are live. So
soldering's easy.
Yeah, but not a lot of people know how to do it or know how to do it well. They get cold joints and that kind of stuff. To be fair, the printer worked the first time, so I got that going for me. But it was like, shit.
So here's the problem with printers like these. This was 2 hours of content right here. I took it out of the box.
Okay.
I took it out of the box. I set it up and I hit print. Like, it's great that these come out of the box and they just work. Okay. But it's not fun. People are asking me to do a review on this printer. Okay. Here's the problem with reviews. If you do a review right, your review's not going to do any good.
Right.
Because here's the thing. YouTube likes who does it first. If you're the first person to do a video on something, you got all the power. Occasionally, if your channel's big enough, or if you just happen to hit the algo right lottery,
good thumbnail, good title,
a review could do okay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't know how people will stretch a review into 10 minutes, because it's literally, I took the printer out of the box, I loaded up files, I hit print. Here's a picture of the printers. Here's some things I had issues with. There's some things that I didn't have issues with. Like that's like, I was giving my thoughts on this printer by the end of the stream. It's an enclosed Core XY. It prints fine. The spool on the back is dumb.
Yes.
Like, what else is there to say? Like, because
can you move it to the front? Please tell me you can.
Kinda, but the problem is there's a feeder, like the filament sensor is bolted to the back. So you have to you would have to put a Bowden tube into there and then run that Bowden tube to the side. Fine. And there's no way to mount a spool holder on the side because they're just flat plastic.
Plastic.
Sides. Yeah, you can't it's not like an extrusion, which
VHP all the things.
You could VHP. That's another thing that kind of sucks with these new printers. They're all completely custom. Like, it, as much as a V-wheel bed flinger sucks, you can bolt shit to it.
Yep.
If it with a K1, a P1P, well, actually a P1P because they didn't put the sides on.
Yeah, you get P1S.
But the enclosed ones, you can't do anything to it. It kind of, there are some mods, but they're like, you can't just, change stuff unless you're K drilling and tapping. Like,
pulls
literally
out a tapping arm, say, F this, I got it. Hold my beer.
So, like, the problem is, it's like, I might do a review on the printer, but the thing is, like, if it's a well-built printer, it'll print fine. You might not be able to print as fast as others, and they might have different build volumes and, enclosed or unenclosed. But let's be honest, most modern printers are fine.
Yeah.
And the only thing you can really judge them on is user serviceability now, quality of life, and those take time.
Oh, yeah.
So
what about the people that say, well, how's the printer? It's not even out of the box. What do you think of it? It's not even out of the box.
It's not out of the box. So here's the thing. If you, and I've seen people do this, and it irks the heck out of me. If you want to have a good review come out, you don't review the printer. You take the printer out of the box, you throw filament in it, you print the built-in test prints, you show them on camera, go, this is my review. It's a good printer. Because if you get that video out first, it'll do the best.
Yep.
That's it. That's all people care about. Like, I have to preface my live streams where I'll have people, oh, thank you for the review. I'm like, this is not a review.
It's a first look at best.
It takes time to review a printer, right? Yep. You can't take a car on a test drive and do a review on the car. You have to spend time with something. So
crap, Duff has the right answer. What's the quality of the box? This is why you need a cat. The cat needs to test the box for you.
I don't know. The box was too freaking big. I threw it in another room.
Well, they'll see that but how was the quality of the box?
I don't know.
Has Calvin
used
it?
Actually.
You know, like what's going on? Is it a spaceship yet? Come on. Box is the best. But Andrew Rogers brings up a great point here. Said, I'd like to see more revisit after 6-month kind of reviews. The new hotness is fun, but I'd like to have a better idea about where to throw my money based on actual use. And I did that with the bamboo. And while the video has done well, it is full of people that are just being nasty.
Yeah. And also, here's the thing. That requires that I use these printers 6 months later.
That's fair too.
So like half of these, I'll be honest, if you watch me unbox a printer on a live stream, that printer might print for a couple days after the live stream, and then it goes into a room, and then it doesn't see the light again.
That Flying Bear Reborn 2 has not been used since I did the live stream on it, because I just don't have the time right now. I want to clipperize it, but...
Yeah. Here's the thing. I full on, I have a preference for a certain type of printer, because I'm... people have accused me of having a Voron bias.
Voron shill.
My brother in Christ, I'm on the fucking Voron team.
Well, it's like, of course I have a bias. They're like, you're not unbaiased. Oh, excuse me for being human. Excuse me for being human.
If I have to print stuff, I wonder what printers I'm going to use for like the things I have to print.
Yeah. You know, Mike says, are you making videos for YouTube algorithm? Are you making them for your audience's value? It's like,
yep.
I mean, I try to hit both if I can, but if I can only hit one, it's always for the value of the audience.
Yeah. And here's
I might make a sensationalized title. That's where I try to hit both.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like there are people, if you want the generic, you know, cookie cutter 3D printing content, there's enough YouTubers out there that already do that.
Tons.
There's tons. Like you can find generic, you know, person who just does reviews or unboxings, like, and that's all they do. And they do their top 10 tip videos, and they got the thumbnails that are all algorithmically designed and shit. Versus me, who spends like 2 seconds before I even put the video up figuring out a thumbnail.
I just tell the editor, I don't know, do it.
Yeah, see, I got to do it all myself. So, like, if you want that stuff, there's people out there for it, and I'm sure they're doing fine doing it. But it's my channel. I do what I want. And it's working so well. So, like, it's working well so far. It could be better. There's always room for improvement.
Of course.
But if it works, it works. And
we all need a producer. David is what we need.
Oh man, David,
He's awesome. We love you, David.
David's awesome. But yeah, actually, speaking of David, Joel, I've been really loving what Joel's been doing lately.
It's gotten good.
It's gotten so good.
You know what's upsetting is like that video of them with the robot, right? Fighting with Jeff. That video did terrible as far as Joel's metrics go. I actually really enjoyed that video. I thought it had good storytelling. It was a little convoluted, but you're running and gunning, doing shots.
Yep.
There's only so much you can do, and I thought they did a great job of showing it. I would have liked that Gloop gave us the shout out for helping make the helmets possible, but you know, hey, whatever.
I'm building a printer for Gloop.
Oh, cool. We scanned. I still have all the helmets. They're in my living room because he sent me a set of helmets to scan them so that they could make sure they fit into the helmets that they printed. Yes, they have real helmets inside of the printed helmets, but that video came out. I love that video. I think Joel's getting much better with his thumbnails, the content. You know who did a good video that I loved and I made sure about that I told him? Jean from Proper Printing.
Yes.
That lamp video.
Yep.
Holy crap. The scenes of him with the black background, he is perfectly illuminated. The background is inky black. It is legitimately one of the best storytelling videos that I've seen in a while in this industry, and I wish I could do that. But I guess
that video reminded me a lot of the what's the guy? He just did the print computer in the water.
Veritasium?
Not Veritasium.
Another good channel though.
But they're like he does a video every couple months where he does a project. Like for YouTubers like that, that's like its own thing. Like John doesn't do daily content or
No.
weekly content. Like he's one of those YouTubers that does a video every now and then. Same like CNC Kitchen. There's different types of creators. Joel does a video every week, and if I went to, I was laughing earlier. I went to hit my Stream Deck to change scenes, and I can't do that here.
Oh, you can't. I figured you were running through OBS.
No, I'm not running through OBS.
I was surprised we didn't get like a punch-in shot here.
Yeah.
DIY
like, if you look
perks.
DIY perks. Yes.
Yep.
So that video reminds
Thanks,
me a lot of a DIY perks video. But if you look at like Joel's content, he hasn't done a review.
He doesn't do reviews.
They're done. Reviews.
They're not doing reviews anymore.
He's doing just kind of a lot of traveling videos, like just showing stuff off.
Those are great because that makes the trip a write-off.
Yeah. But it's just like showing stuff off now, like 3D printed casts or ceramics or like
the Lamborghini that he did when he was out at Remurf.
Yeah, and that's
that's the
Joel's channel's big.
need.
Like Joel's got what 600,000 subs. He's got
million.
Yeah. Well, what's he at for views? Like
116
million views. Like his channel is good with evergreen content. He has videos on his channel. He has so many videos that like even mine. Like you watch my channel. And it's like I don't put out videos often. I average like I think it's anywhere from 10 to 20,000 views a day. Just on average, my channel gets.
Let's see. Last 48 hours, we had 6,400 views.
That's not bad, actually.
Well, we have a lot of videos. That's the other issue. It's like, well, that means they're not all getting a lot of views.
So my channel works because I have a ton of content that is hours long that people just watch in the background.
And YouTube loves that stuff.
Yeah, YouTube loves that. Every now and then, one of my like old live streams will just pop off and get a couple thousand views. And if you got an ad every 20 minutes in there, that ain't bad. But Joel just has so much content that it just gets continuous views constantly.
And he's kind of hit evergreen mark of charisma, education, entertainment. He's right in that middle, right? And for those who don't know, Joel's also a mountain. The dude is like 6'4", 6'5".
About here.
Yeah, he's a tall guy. So that's the other thing. If people look short next to Joel, it's not because they're short. It's because Joel's tall.
Joel's just tall.
But he does it like his Rap Fest in 60-second videos. Those are awesome. What a great way to give people that screen time to talk about what they're doing, and boom, you're on the next one. Boom, and it's just rapid fire. That kind of stuff's cool.
Yeah, and it's just you could tell like it's the thing is when I first started watching Joel, when I first got into 3D printing, he was the guy who printed stuff big.
Yeah,
that was his thing. He would just print stuff big, and you can only do so much for so long. Like I've seen dozens of channels that they fall into that rut. And then they kind of just peter out.
Dude, I'm trying to get out of the ruts, right? Everyone loves when we like shit on companies in general, but specifically people love when I get mad at Bamboo. And it's like, well, okay, I get it, but I'm trying not to be the Keemstar of 3D printing. Thanks.
I'm the Voron guy.
Yeah.
Tom Sandlatter, if you're watching this, I'm the Voron guy according to him. So like if you've noticed, I've been trying to pivot away from Voron stuff on this channel for a while now. Like I'm still the guy who streams. You have to diversify. That's why I do stuff like I've got my Mando suit here I built. I'm building a blade. I'm trying to get into prop stuff. Because I got the shop now where I can build stuff out in a shop. I actually have a workspace. I'm trying to get more into I've dabbled in some FPV stuff on the channel. It didn't do that good, but it's still there. I'm trying to get more into
garage build stuff. Streams. That's a typical YouTuber thing when they're doing new stuff.
The Reno. So you can't. So I'm now using this chance now to try and branch out into more tech. I'm still trying to get my hands on a CNC and a laser. Because you can't just sit doing the same thing. So that's the thing where you see.
Dude, I tried a laser unboxing video as a stream. It did not do well. Just for reference.
Is it the same thing like resin where it's just boring once it gets going?
Yeah, it kind of was.
Yeah.
Except when we realized it was making an eagle, and we happened to be doing it on the 4th of July. And I went eagle, and I smacked the printer, or I smacked the laser accidentally, and it stopped.
Oh no!
It
Hey,
took
you're
us
testing
like
out the
20
safety
minutes to
precautions.
figure out why I broke it.
You're
Oh,
testing out the safety system.
that was so funny. Oh, I don't know if it was or if it was some wires, but we ended up starting it over again. But I said, this is some Chinese laser that was sent to us. It's a 36 watt, so it's 6
Oh.
watt diodes that are in a beam combiner. No one would let me take it apart, right? The stream is like, no, don't take it apart. I'm like, but I want to see the beam combiner. No, don't take it apart. But I want to Dave Jones it. Don't turn it on. Take it apart. No, they needed to see it work. And by that point, it was up near 90 Fahrenheit. Like, what is that? 35, 36 C in my garage.
Oh.
So, and that's with an AC blasting. It's still, it won't cool enough. So I said, I'm done. It's too hot out here.
Yeah, I need to. I was hoping to get a mini split this month. So I did my garage reno.
Yeah.
I went way over budget, and not from trying. I tried to keep it as cheap as possible. I just didn't realize how much it cost to reno a garage. So I need to get insulation up in the ceiling. So right now all the walls are insulated, but the ceiling is just drywall and then attic space, and it's a vented attic, so it just gets hot as shit up there, right?
Same.
So the problem I have is during the day, it heats up.
Yep.
And then into the afternoon, it just radiates that heat through the ceiling into the garage. So I need to insulate that, and then I need to put a mini split. So the plan was I did all the renovations. Today is what? It's August, July. I did all the renovations in June into July because I'm already streaming out there. And the plan was at the end of July, I pay off my credit card bill every month, so I don't carry a balance. I would be like, okay, we're good. The garage is now paid off. And then I'll look into getting it insulated in the mini split. Well, I was trying to get it insulated. The company never called me back, and a bunch of other companies given me fuck off pricing.
Do it yourself.
No, the problem is it's such a small space. I'm doing blowing too. But the problem is to rent the machine, I also have to rent a truck because I don't have the ability to move. I don't have anything. So I have to rent the machine.
You have Subaru.
Well, the machine is just a machine. How do I get the machine home?
You don't have a hitch?
No.
Oh, put a hitch on it.
Well, I don't have a trailer either.
Rent a trailer for a day.
Well, then I have to rent a trailer for a day.
That's what, 40, 50 bucks?
The truck is $30
for 90 minutes.
Yeah. But either way. So anyway, so I need to rent transportation. I need to rent the thing. I need to buy the stuff. And then the thing with the rented machines is they're not fast, right? They're kind of shitty and slow. So I got to sit up in an attic that's 60C. I need to put all the little baffles in so I can still get airflow. I need to crawl over everything. And I need to sweat my balls off for like 4 hours up there.
And you have to make sure you're on all the rafters, because if you're not, you're falling through.
Yep. And then once that's all done, I got to pack it all up, clean it all up, and bring it back.
That's correct.
I did the math. The one company that gave me their minimum pricing, because it's like, oh, we have to charge X amount to make it worth this to come out. Versus doing it myself, I saved $200.
Oh, screw that. Somebody else can do it. $200.
There you go.
Somebody else can do it. I
exactly.
haven't looked, because for me, I to do my garage, because my garage is an addition. There is no insulation, period. It is solid concrete walls. There's no drywall. The ceiling is wood paneling that is barely narrow crown stapled to the rafters. So I have to go and use a framing nailer to do that first.
Yep.
Have the framing nailer that's more of me up and down on ladders. It was going to be 15 bags to do an R50 up there. But for 20 bags, you get the machine for a day for free. For 30 bags, you only pay for 25 bags. I said, 30 bags it is. And I'm just going to blow the rest into the rest of the house. But I never looked to see what it would cost to have somebody else do it. But I can't imagine doing it in Florida in the summer is going to work out well.
Yeah.
So probably just going to do it myself.
So the company called me, or I called the company. They got a quote, and I called them back. I'm like, hey, yeah, we'll go ahead. And he's like, cool, I'll call you next week. That was a month ago. They never called back. So I'm assuming they told me, basically their way of telling me to fuck off. So I got to find another company now. But the thing was, I was going to do all that, and then I was going to put a mini split in, because it is a garage that's attached to my house. By law, you're not allowed to have, you have to have a vapor barrier. You can't have gases from the garage come into the house, just in case carbon monoxide. You know, I don't park cars in the garage. By law, you're not allowed to have a hole.
Same here.
So you can't just run your AC into the garage, which people were telling me to do, and I'm like, you are dumb. So I'm going to put a mini split out there, about $100, or sorry, about $1,000. Cool. And then I got an email from the government going, hey, you didn't pay enough taxes. You need to pay more. So now we're off another month. So
I feel that pain.
Yeah.
Like I contacted Mr. Cool because they're the notorious ones for sponsoring.
I know, but the problem is they're only in the States.
They're only in the States.
Now here's the thing. Mr. Cool isn't Mr. Cool. It's all
No.
the same Chinese company selling these things, right?
No,
I get the
their
exact
company
same one
is iwae.com. So that's
Yeah.
the parent company of
Yeah. So I can get the same machine in Canada,
Yeah.
but it's not Mr. Cool. It's Senville or something like that.
I mean, I would still reach out to them. So we had an 8700 BTU single hose portable air conditioner in there. I took some money from Patreon and put it toward a 12,000 BTU dual hose unit. It's like $480 from Costco delivered, so I didn't even have to move it myself. But I'm debating, can I just make the installation work instead?
Yeah. What's your square footage out there?
450 basically.
Okay. So my garage it's 15 by 20. So it's 300 square feet, but I'm only using about half of it. So I've got like the, you've seen pictures, I think.
Yeah.
Of where I got like the fake wall.
Yeah,
in
I
the
don't
middle.
have any walls.
So I have that. So right now, every day, by the end of the day, it's anywhere from 30 to 35 Celsius out there. So what I do before a live stream,
I'm gonna check thermostat in there.
I open the garage door to the house and I get my fan and I put it there and I blow cold air from the house into the garage. And that drops it down to about 25. And then I go live. And then by the time about an hour into the stream, it gets back up to 30 because it's just that heat radiating. So I need to get it insulated first because that will help a lot with the heat radiating in the afternoon. And then figure out about getting a, why not get sponsored Mr. Cool in Canada, Micro Center sponsored Makers Muse. That's true.
Yeah,
I gotta get
that's fair.
Micro Center
Different
carries Voron
companies.
parts. See if I can get them to sponsor.
I'm 10 Fahrenheit. Oh, here, I can put it into centigrade. It is currently 33.5 C in my garage, but outside it's been raining all day. So what is my temp outside? No, it's 81. Whatever 81 converts to, but it's 81 Fahrenheit outside.
It's been nuts here. It's been
relative humidity,
hot.
84%.
My garage sits anywhere between 40 and 60 right now.
Yeah. There's
outdoors.
Let's see if it'll focus on it. There's the graph. The low for temperature, the minimum is 26. The maximum is 33.5, which is where we're currently sitting.
Right now, it's
raining all day.
C and feels like 32 with 83% humidity outside.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Those are just some of the things. And as Duff says, extra airflow in the attic. I have a big fan that I want to put up there. So
we have for ours, so our house is 20 something years old now. we redid the roof after we bought it in like 2016 or 2017. So we put like 50-year shingles up there. But what we also did, we have ridge vents.
Yep.
So along the whole ridge, we ridge vented it. So we got all the airflow up there. So we're all
ridge vents, soffits. I've even got a dedicated vent for the garage, but none of them are powered. And in Florida, if you want to put like a solar powered attic vent of some sort, you have to get a contractor because of hurricanes, because you have to repenetrate the roof. So I said, I can just put a fan in my attic that blows air up toward the ridge vent. That probably works.
There you go.
We're gonna find out.
So another thing, so the reason I'm going with the heat pump is I need heat. Because, yeah. See, it's
I don't
like
that.
So I've talked to creators like who live like in Seattle, where it's just kind of it's 60 to 70 all year, whatever. It's like see, in the summer it gets up to like 35 Celsius. In the winter, it's like negative 20 Celsius on some days. So like I'm in that area where it gets really hot in the summer and pretty dang cold in the winter. So yeah, and people are like, oh, just run all your printers. Yeah, they're not that efficient at heating a room.
No, they're not.
And they use a lot of power for the heat they put out. They're not. Yeah, they're. So I'm kind of hoping. So I've got my resin stuff out in the garage for now, which is it's loving it because it gets hot during the day.
Guess
Like
I need
I'm
to get
open
you
air.
a politician, huh?
I'm open air printing ABS in my garage right now. It's great. The Prusa is just chugging away. But yeah, so I got to figure that out in soon. Like fall, like we're in August now. It's just those streams out there where it's like normally I like to run my Saturday night stream late.
Yeah.
By the end of the stream, we're just hanging out and having a drink. But like last night, I'm like, it's hot. I got to end this. So.
And I told myself for the month of July, I want to do 2 streams a week. So it's one in the garage, one of my set here for the podcast. I didn't do it. It got so hot, and I guess apparently for air conditioners to work better, you need less humidity. So I have to add a dehumidifier, which adds heat, but apparently that's good heat. I don't know, man. So I have dehumidifiers, of course, because 3D printer. I used to dehumidify my office, but I could get my office sub 10% ambient, which is really cool. Like when you come in when it's raining and you're wet, you just sit in the office and you're like instantly dry. But it would be 115 degrees Fahrenheit in here. With sub 10%, you would get so dehydrated, you wouldn't realize it until your eyes, when you go to blink, your eyelids get stuck to your eyeballs.
Duff was saying. So yeah, the thing is with my garage,
so much.
It's a garage.
Yeah.
So yes, if I have a heat pump up there, it will like dehumidify it a bit. It will help with that. The problem is it's a garage. There's like a 20-foot door that opens a couple times a day. That's why I put the fake wall where I have so my garage it's a 15 by 20-foot garage, right?
Yep.
So in the middle, so splitting it the long way. So it's 15 feet wide this way, 20 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle, I have a bench set up, right? Or shelving set up.
Yep.
With a tarp behind it, and that is the wall. So if you see the streams or the videos I film out there, the rack of printers, that divides my garage a little bit more than half. So I did that. So when the garage door opens, you don't get that gust of wind coming into the printers, right? It kind of splits that off because I still need somewhere to put my lawnmower and my bike and like stuff that goes in the garage. So I've divided it off that way. So I'm hoping when I get the air conditioner or when I get the heat pump's going to be on the workshop side of it.
Yep.
So I'm hoping because it only has to heat that little area with the fake wall, it kind of is a little bit more efficient.
I should try that. I don't know if I can put walls up without a permit in Florida. I'll have to check.
Well, here's the thing. It's not a wall. All it is it's a shelving unit that's just freestanding. I do need to drill it to the ground. I haven't done it yet, but it's freestanding. And right now, because I need to get wood, so I need to rent a truck to get some wood delivered because it's cheaper to do that. Because I also have to get some insulation I got to insulate the garage door, so I got to get the insulation for that. Just put some plywood on it and just ceiling to floor. So it's not a true wall, like it's just attached to the shelving. It's just vertical, but it still is a divider. So for noise, for wind, for light and whatnot, it's still so. Because I don't have the wood yet, I just have a tarp. Bungee corded up there, and it's good enough.
Hey, if it works, it works. Like I don't park cars in my garage. I found out that my garage door opener is the same age as my girlfriend. Except my house. See, the garage door was made in 1993. The house was built in like 2006.
So there probably was either no house there or an older house.
It was a contractor that built the house. The guy that lived in it was the guy that built the house. So it must have been spare from a job site. There are some weird things in here that are like that. And, so like it doesn't work very well. So everything's manual. That's not an old joke for Amber. It's not an old joke. I'm 33. Stop it.
In Germany, there are laws that you have to use a garage for cars.
I have 2 acres of land. No one gives a damn what I do out here.
Like you can't park your car in your driveway? Like what?
No, because it says drive. You don't park in a driveway. What's wrong with you?
In the States, we call it the Midwest. Donald, I live south of Detroit. So yeah. In floor heating. If I live south of Detroit. In floor heating.
Right.
Yeah. In floor heating would be great, but my garage is already done. I'm not going to rip up my garage floor to put in floor heating in. And yeah, look at a map, look at Detroit, look south of Detroit. I live south of Detroit. Just like that Journey song.
Yeah, it's content creation is just, it's such a weird thing. Like, did you ever expect to take up half your garage for a YouTube set? What does the wife think about it?
Okay. Oh, she's fine with it. Because okay. So one of the reasons I'm able to, because I've been full-time YouTube for 1.5 years now. I just hit 50,000 subs like last month.
Oh,
like
sweet. We're at 35, I think.
So my channel is not huge by any metric in terms of YouTube, right?
Joel is literally an order of magnitude larger than both of us.
Yes. Even like Modbot's channel is twice the size of mine. And he's still growing faster than me. Like
he's so nice.
Oh yeah.
I gotta have him on here sometime.
But like that's the thing. I fully know I'm a niche creator in a niche field. I don't expect gangbusters numbers. The reason I can do a lot, like the reason I can make this work is because I happened to, like, I did work in the trade for years. So that's okay.
You know, a lot of it. But subtractive on the subtractive side, but you understand the trade work that goes into it.
But the reason is because I can run the channel pretty lean and I don't have editors. A lot of the equipment I use is used. In terms of like that's why people like, oh, are you going to check out this printer? Are you going to check out this printer? I literally can't really afford to buy every printer that people want me to check out.
If they want to send us them, we'll take a look.
Yeah. So like I had to buy the Prusa Mark IV. All right. Prusa doesn't give out Mark IVs. I had to buy the Prusa Mark IV and I bought this Ultimaker. The Prusa Mark IV, those 4 streams, I may have broke even. So I worked for free for 4 streams,
but the bulk of that break even is likely some sort of fan funding and not ad revenue. That's
exactly
that's the big thing.
The thing is, the majority of my income is derived from not AdSense. Put it that way.
It's why creators say PayPal, YouTube channel members, Patreon, memberships, like that kind of stuff, because we get, 1, such a better cut of it, but 2, $5 from one viewer is way more than if they watched every one of our videos all the way through that we would get from an ad revenue focus.
Yep.
Right.
And that's why you don't stream on Twitch, because Twitch takes 50%.
Yeah. We stopped. We used to multi-stream to Twitch for the podcast.
There's no point
and it's
streaming
like,
on Twitch.
I can't monitor both chats at the same time. So like, why the hell care?
And why would you stream on a platform that takes even more of your money? If I was a viewer, why would I give you money when the company takes more? Like if I'm giving money to a content creator I enjoy, I want them to get as much of the money as possible. So if I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube, why would you want to watch me on Twitch, on the platform that I don't make anything off of?
Yep.
So I don't bother with it at all. But also, again, because I run the channel lean, we were lucky. We bought our house before everything kind of went tits up in the housing market. We managed to pay off a good chunk of it early. When I went full-time YouTube, we stopped having to pay daycare, for example. So daycare was several hundred a month. I don't pay that anymore. I'm Mr. Stay-at-home mom. So I'm at home all the time. Yeah, I'm home all the time watching the little guy. I do all the cooking at home.
And your streams love him. Objectively, the stream goes better when he's there.
Oh yeah,
and it's like when the cat comes into a stream, everyone's like, "Oh, there's a cat." I'm like, "Hey, that's engagement. Thanks, cat."
Yeah,
and that's why we have stickers with her face on them and not with mine.
There you go. But yeah, I'm able to run the channel relatively streamlined. I don't pay again for I wish I had more sponsors.
Same.
But I don't have editors. It's just me. I don't have a ton of expensive equipment. The biggest single purchase for the channel, other than the garage reno, was the A6400, which was around $1,000. That was an open box that I bought 2 years ago.
Oh, you're gonna hate how little I paid for that A6500.
Ooh, how much?
$360 body only.
I am so peeved because here's the problem.
It's not in great shape. So like a lot of the paint on the dials are missing, but
it's a camera.
I don't care.
Yeah. The used market in Canada sucks. I was trying to find, because I need two cameras. I need another 4K camera, because here's my thing. I have 2 setups now.
Yep.
I am not going to move cameras between setups. I'm not going to move equipment between setups. I have a
Soon to be
computer in
3.
here. I got a computer in the garage, right? Like I don't like moving stuff. I like once it's set up, it's set up. I don't move it. It just makes it easier because when I go live, it's literally 5 minutes before I go live. I put up the giveaway sign up and I turn the cameras on and I've got all my overlays set up and everything. And I'm ready to work in 5 minutes. I love easy setups. And then when I'm done stream, I shut everything down. I turn it off and I'm done. It just works. So I need to get another 4K camera for the garage because right now the camera that I have in the garage is my A5100, which was my overhead camera in here. So I don't have an overhead camera in here, which I don't really need as much because this room now, I got the Vixia. I got to mount that up then.
Yeah.
In this room now is the studio. Mm-hmm. So the plan for this room is this is where unboxings will take place, print and chill Fridays, stuff where I'm not building. Basically, if I'm not actively building something, I'm streaming in this room.
It's more comfy because it's not in the garage. It's under air
conditioned.
Yeah.
So the plan is to like these printers back here will mostly be for show. Although this one I still use a ton. I got the Ultimaker in here. The Tico will go in here. I'm still redoing stuff like this. I finally got the camera moved.
I do the same thing. I have a Solid Doodle press and an M3D micro on my standing set in my garage. They don't work.
Yeah.
Well, the Solid Doodle press probably works, but it doesn't work well.
So I'm redoing this room into more of a studio. So the garage, I need a 4K camera so I can do all my punch-ins and whatnot. And then I need an overhead camera. So in here, I probably actually don't need an overhead camera, but I need like a mobile camera for like when I got the printer set up and printing and whatnot. So I've just been keeping an eye out for something used that I can use. But then also the camera in the garage, the computer in the garage, I'm using Cam Links, the USB ones. I need to get the PCI Express one. Because the problem with
use the generic Chinesium ones and they work okay, but they don't do 4K.
They don't do 4K. I have Cam Link Pro. I got the USB Cam Links. They'll do 4K.
Yeah.
The problem is that they treat it like a webcam. So you run into issues with Windows where it's just a webcam. So you have issues where you can't use it for 2 programs, for example.
Right.
So if you're running OBS and you want to have a guest on, that guest can't see your camera unless they're watching the stream, or you set up an OBS virtual camera.
You can see me just fine. I'm not running a virtual cam. Stream can see me too. Oh, because I'm capturing the Zoom app. That's what. I'm capturing Zoom.
If you were to launch OBS right now and try and pull your camera feed, you wouldn't be able to.
YouTube sees it. YouTube is OBS. So
if you were to launch another program to try and use your camera, you can't.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. That doesn't work. But PCI lets you do it.
Yeah, PCI. Yeah, that's why in here I have a cam. Yeah, I can load up like right now. So right here I got a Cam Link Pro in this computer.
Well, then I guess I have to get a Cam Link Pro. Will they do well in high humidity and high temperature?
It's a PCI Express card. It should be fine.
Because
like your video card.
I don't have a video card in the PC in the garage. It's just a 7700, so it uses QuickSync. It's great.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It's old HP Elite Desk. You can got it for like sub $150. Like it's perfect for my needs.
So for me, I like running separate video cards for encoding. That way the CPU isn't getting hit with anything when I'm like pulling up CAD or something like that, which has happened a few times. So, and plus I have them. So like this computer right here this computer was recently upgraded because I upgraded my main computer and they're all Ryzen. So I just moved it all down.
Yep.
So this computer right here is a Ryzen 3700X.
Good processor.
It's got 32 gigs of RAM. It's got a 1070 video card, which just does NVENC encoding. That's all it does. And then it's got the Cam Link HD Pro. So it's got 4 HDMI ins for capture, and that'll do 4K 60. The computer in the garage that we just built, that's an i3-12100F. So it doesn't have a video. It doesn't have the video card, which also means it can't do encoding. Right. But it was like $100. I've got a 1070 Ti that somebody gave me, 16 gig of RAM, and the Cam Link. So I need to get rid of the Cam Links and put a PCI Express card in there for HDMI capture. Because if like I have a guest on and I'm like talking to the guest in like Discord, I can't have
You can't do
OBS
both. Yeah.
capturing my because I'd rather capture my direct camera feed than capture like the Discord feed.
Agreed.
Like
you'll get
because of the way I have
my
because like the way I have it set up on my streams is just like I like having it that way.
See, I've never bothered with Elgato products because they're so effing expensive.
I lucked out. This Camlink Pro was on sale for like $220 Canadian, which normally it's like closer to 400. I just happened to be on Amazon one day and it was on sale for like $220. I bought it, but now I need to get another one for the garage. And I'm like, I'm kind of nudging Elgato on Twitter to see if they'll sponsor something, but I need more lights.
The PC I'm using is a 10700K, 1080 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM, and the editing PC is a 10400 with everything else the same. It is literally the same motherboard, the same RAM, the same power supply. Technically, it's a 1080 Ti, but it's a different model of 1080 Ti. I will eventually upgrade it to the same 1080 Ti because I just bought another one. They're EVGA for the Win 3s. I buy them for sub $200 on Reddit used.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're perfect. And because they're the 1080 Ti, they allow 4 simultaneous NVENC encoding.
Yeah.
Instead
the
of like
1080 Ti,
3.
Honestly, everyone should have gone back and talking about 1080 Ti's because you would have not had to buy a video.
They're still good to this day. I still argue
they started running to issues at like 4K with like the newer games, but the fact that you want to know what's funny, my computer upstairs, my main computer it's a 3950X Ryzen 3950X, 64 gigs of RAM, whatever motherboard and NVMe drives, and I got a 3080 in it. that only has 10 gigs of VRAM versus 11 on the 1080 Ti.
Yep, 11, but it's GDDR6 versus GDDR5.
Yeah,
but
and it's got the newer NVENC and all that. It doesn't have like what
and no RTX, but
no. You don't. I have RTX.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. I that powerful video card. Yeah, it's a 1080p monitor.
I have a
now,
pair of 1440p 165 hertz here.
That now that like because I do editing, I want to get a 1440p monitor.
I'll send you the monitors that we use. When they go on sale, they're like $180. They're from it's the X27Q from HP. They are 165 hertz.
Okay.
1440p, color accurate, 100% color.
You said the 27-inch.
27-inch, 1440.
Okay, send me a link.
I'll send you a link.
Because the reason I'm sticking with the 1080p is I love high frame rate.
Yep.
And that's 165 hertz. So I love being able to like right now I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, everything fully maxed out at 150 FPS. I like that. Do I need 150 FPS for a turn-based D&D game? No, but it's nice to have.
Bingo.
And I'm waiting on Cyberpunk 2077, the DLC.
That's fair.
Play through that again.
That's fair. So. There's so much more to being a content creator than just turn on camera, be personality, question marks, and profit, right?
I try to make it as close to that as possible. That's true. Why I have all the different setups is because I just love being able to just come down here at, it's 7:55 on a Saturday, walk in the garage, turn the cameras on, go live stream for 3 to 4 hours, turn everything off, go to bed, I'm done. But when it's like, okay, I'm going to make this video, I'm going to work 20 hours on this video, editing it all and recording everything, and I'm going to upload it. And YouTube goes, hey, congratulations, 6 out of 10. And it's get a couple thousand views over the week and I make $30. It's like, I'm going to go live stream again.
Yep.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
It's, it sucks, right? Because we have to play this fun game between having actual clickbait and then having titles and videos and topics that actually matter. And people get mad. Oh, this is clickbait. No, it is.
It's not clickbait.
It's not clickbait. It is sensationalized. But if it was 6-month review of my bamboo, you wouldn't click the video of, I hate it when I'm right. Ever since like LTT did a video on it, why they do the clickbaity thumbnails. And here's the thing, as much as people want to bitch and it works, metrics show it works. Yep.
And every time I see somebody goes, I'm not going to watch your videos anymore because you did a clickbaity thumbnail. I go, cool.
See ya.
See ya. You're not the audience anymore for that channel.
Well, you're not an audience for content creation in general.
Like I view it. It's like a movie billboard.
Yep.
Nobody walks by a movie theater as they're like, okay, I'm going to go into this movie. Oh my God, I don't like the billboard. I'm not going to watch it. Or I don't like the poster. All the
I've
title
never
is,
thought of it that way, but it's true.
That's what I view it as. When I see a title, in my opinion, the title should be a little bit more descriptive of what it is.
But we only get 100 characters.
Yeah.
And the first 50 show up.
Yeah. But still, I view a thumbnail as a poster. All it is an advertisement for it. So yes, it may be a clickbaity thing, but it's to get your attention. So if I see it and it's like, my printer blew up, and I go, oh my God, what happened? I click the video. So my printer, it caught fire and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, cool, whatever. But like, my printer blew up. It's just a poster. It's just an advertisement for it. If you don't like the video within 30 seconds, leave. Like, you can figure out within 30 seconds if the video is interesting for you.
It was spending time with Zach Friedman that really helped me better understand this. Like, after Remurf, we went over to Zach's house and I got to like see Void Star. I've never lived in a house that had a useful basement, right? So like, I've always needed land because basements in Florida are pools. Our water table is so close. You can literally dig a hole and it fills with water here. So like, seeing that Void Star Lab is his basement, now it is, and it's like 1,000+ square feet. I'm like, shit, I have 28 printers and 150 usable square feet. That's it. 28 printers are in here, then the rest are in my garage. 10 by 17 feet with a 4-by-4 wall in the way.
Up until 2 months ago, everything for my channel was out of this room.
Yep.
And this is a 10-foot by 11-foot room. And then I have a room next to it that is basically just storage. And by storage, I mean there's piles of printers on the floor. So everything that I do for work is out of this room. Now I have a garage, which is the exact same as this. So I basically doubled it.
That's great.
So I might have 300 square feet to run out of everything out of. And the reason I did the garage, I've been putting off doing the garage for a while because I didn't want to do a garage. I wanted an off-site location.
Same. Uncle Jesse style, where you get a building.
Oh, I wish I had the funds for that. That is not in the budget. But Uncle Jesse also runs a print farm. Like that's where I'm assuming a lot of the income to pay for that location is probably generated by that location.
I just want to take him out to dinner one night and honestly just kind of learn about that, how he decided that was such a cool move. Because like, there's a lot of effort that comes into spending. There's not a chance that building, unless it is in a real bad part of town, cost him less than $250,000. Because I believe
he's renting it. Did he buy it?
I'm fairly certain he bought it.
You know what it was? It was those little ghosts that he printed.
And maybe it was. Maybe like.
Well, he did a video. He did a video where the little ghosts that like you pick it up and the legs pop out. He did like, I made $40,000 selling these.
Yep.
But here's the thing. The reason that works for him, because you see it, everyone wants to start up a print farm and sell prints. Okay.
No, you don't.
You do it.
But I don't sell to end users like that.
I know.
You know, most of our jobs are $500+.
Yeah, you do commission work for certain sellers, but a lot of people want to start up a print farm and sell the knick-knack print. That's the flavor of the month meme print. But, you know, it's a lot easier to do that. Oh, there you go.
$250.
Big money.
Big money for an X-ray company.
Yeah.
Like, that's $250 to them. That takes 14 hours. That requires a printer with over 300 millimeters XYZ. That's a much bigger part than it looks like.
What material?
That's PLA. They don't care.
Okay.
They literally don't care what material.
I've spoken with Max about this. Well, he mentioned it. The company that commissioned the V24.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they printed. It was something with AC unit adapters. So basically, like ducting manifolds. They printed it on
big thin parts.
They needed not thin, ABS. Because of the temperatures.
Gross.
So they needed to print.
Yeah.
ABS objects that fit within a 24-inch cube volume. That printer paid for itself in I think 1 or 2 prints, because previously they were paying $5,000 a unit for a printed part.
The $5,000 Fusion 3 F410 technically paid for itself before it even showed up at my house, because I had enough work lined up for it. That was because we take money before we ship parts. That I was prepaid. That machine showed up and I could instantly pay it off.
Yeah.
That's business.
Yeah. And these are companies that to them that cost is fine.
Like when you told me that I could build a V24 for like, what is it, $4,000, something like that, $4 or $5 grand.
Bomb cost would be around there. Yeah.
Give me the bomb. Like in a heartbeat.
I need the bomb.
I will spend that money because there is nobody in my state that prints that big unless it's a Fortis. And a Fortis, that's, so for people who don't know, Fortis is from Stratasys. That is the FDM. We don't have FDM printers. We have FFF printers. But the Fortis starts at the 250 line. The 450 line is where you could print something this big, theoretically, to some extent. Then the 900 is actually where you can print it. The Fortis 900 can easily get to $500,000 without even blinking for the price of the for the price of the printer. Then the DRM controlled filament that is incredibly expensive. And while yes, the encryption has been broken, you can get your own whatever filament and all that. You void your $20,000 a year warranty on it, so they don't come out and service it anymore. And you know this from dealing with CNC work. You don't touch machines like that. You pay the premium, and you charge the premium because your customers are okay with paying that premium.
Yep.
Because it comes with certifications. The V24 is not going to have those certifications. But the average person that wants parts like that, or the average company that wants parts like that, doesn't always need that cert. And if they can get it for half the price of everybody else, and if you're half the price of a Fortis running $20 a kilo filament, you are making well over 1,000% net profit on the work that you're doing. It is dumb money. It's dumb money.
There are two types of, well, there are always outliers, but there's really like two types of successful 3D print farm type activities. You either do what you're doing, where you have your commissioned
service
for
bureau
business clientele, and you're doing where you're making massive markup on your prints, or you're somebody in like Uncle Jesse's position, where you're selling lots and lots and lots of individual prints because you also happen to be a content creator. So when you put out a video or TikTok or a short,
it's all a write-off.
Well, that and it's advertising.
It is. Yeah.
So you go, hey, look at this print. It's really cool. It's got 1 million views. Do you want to buy it? Here's a link.
And I hate this because it is kind of stabbing at the content creators that do this thing. A lot of them don't pay for the printers. A lot of them don't pay for the filament. A lot of them don't pay for a lot of the stuff they put into it. Yep. And even if you pay for the filament, that is nothing compared to the price of even cheap. Like, look at an SV. Look at, I'll use, because, you know, sponsored by El Lagu, so I got to use his stuff. So, you know, the Neptune 3 Max, right? That's a what, $500 printer, $600 printer?
Yep.
Putting $20 worth of filament through it. The $600 printer is 30 times the price of the filament. So if you can get the printer for free and then you can use it to build a business out of, there is value to that. But what a lot of people will find, and it's why belt printers have a lot of value to those of us that do production style work, if they were actually reliable, is it is all about the human maintenance that it requires to. This part finished when we were on the stream. Now I got to go pull the build plate off, pop the parts off, put the next plate on. That's why the 3DQ system was interesting to me. But then I realized I'd be paying, like, with putting it on every printer that we have here, close to $1,000 a month to have it. And it's like, well, that doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Yeah. It makes more sense for me to look at belts, look at...
I know not Uncle Jesse, Pooch. Repcord has been trying to get those belt printers chugging away. I don't know if he's at that point yet, but
I bought a CR30 used, $350. It came with 2 Dremel printers as well that I donated to the local makerspace. That was the only way I could get the price down. They wanted me to take, they said, I will cut $100 off if you take these other 2 printers. I said, okay. I said, but the deal is I'm going to take these, but I'm going to donate them. They said, perfect. I said, great. Done. $350 cash. I have a CR30. I have placed it, and it has not moved since I bought it because Pooch does not yet have a system that makes them reliable enough for production atmosphere. Because eventually that's where the politician is going to get produced, is going to be on something like that. Because hilariously, on something like a Bamboo, even if a Bamboo is reliable, a Bamboo is more labor than a regular printer because it's faster. I got to get up out of my seat more often to change it over.
This came up this was a subject for PIF, Voron printed forward program. So if you don't know what Voron printed forward, there are people in the Voron community that print Voron parts for those that want to build a Voron that can't print the parts, because a Voron, you have to build it out of ABS or equivalent, quality plastic because of the temperatures and whatnot. It's an enclosed printer. So there's the PIF program, the printed forward program. And you can buy a set of Voron parts well below what you would be paying from like a print service.
$150, right?
I haven't actually looked at the price in a while, but it's multitudes cheaper than if you were to go like a print farm service.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
The people doing PIF don't make money. They do make money, but we're talking like less than minimum wage. Like it's not a
it's enough to keep their printers running, which they enjoy.
So there are a few people though that have massive print farms, like 30 printers doing it. But at that point, it kind of makes, they're at the cusp of it making sense, but still running 30 printers.
But even then it's that volume play like you were talking about.
Yeah, you have to do a crazy volume for it to make sense. I used to do PIF. It basically, when the channel first started off, when I was doing like the tutorial stuff, like the videos, I was printing V2.1 parts for PIF. I did like 20 or 30 sets. It basically covered the cost of upgrading this from like a V1 to a V2. Like I broke even. Woo. With the profits from that. But anyways, going back to that speeds, because you want to be able to print these parts as fast as possible, but the parts have to come out at a specific quality.
Yeah.
Okay. To qualify for PIF, there's quality requirements. So what we found out was a plate a day is kind of what you want. You want to come in the morning, take the parts off the printer, get it ready and fire up a print. If that either the print finishes in 8 hours or it's a 24-hour print, one or the other.
I like that 11 or
18.
11 hours or 18 hours. Those are my 2 hours for 2 times for print builds that I like to put together.
Why? So you're awake, like you start in the morning, you take it off before going to bed?
11 is I start it right when I wake up in the morning. It's finished before I'm going to sleep. If I need to do any printer maintenance, I have a couple of hours of leeway there. 18 hours is I start it in the morning. If I have a long day, I can start another one right as I'm going to bed. Right?
Because the thinking basically is either the print finishes during the day or it's a day print. Because here's the thing. If I start a print, and it's going to finish at 3 a.m. If I maximize the settings and I really I
ain't changing over till 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. It ain't happening.
And I could do the same plate, but it'll come out looking better because it finishes at 7 a.m. If I don't wake up till 8 a.m., it don't fucking matter how fast that print was.
Yep.
Because I'm not touching it till 8 a.m. So it's basically either the print takes place during, and we use the 8 hour because that's like a work day, right? Like it's at work.
You start it before you leave for your day job. When you're back home at 5, 6 o'clock, it's done. It's cooled. It's waiting for you. The parts will pop right off a build plate. You can, turn and then you can
start another one and it would be ready in the morning. So either the print is an 8 to 10 hour print or it's a 24-hour print. There's really no in between because again, between midnight and 7 a.m., it doesn't matter because you're sleeping or whatever it is, right? That was basically the thinking because we were able to, the average PIF plate part, I think is like a 21-hour or 19-hour print for like the plates at the recommended settings for Voron settings, because Voron settings are high infill, a lot of walls and whatnot.
Yep.
Last I checked, it was around that 19 to 20 something, like 22-hour, like that window per plate. And there was work done into optimizing that down. And some of the plates you could shave off an hour or two and not really lose quality, but the plate is still finishing while you're asleep. And is now the higher chance of warping, the higher chance of a potential part failure. Because remember, the moment you have to reprint something, all that work you spent time optimizing is gone.
Out the window. Time optimization means nothing if you don't have reliability to back it up.
Yep.
And it's why I will still use my Prussias when I have the bamboo. So many people say, oh, I'm getting rid of my Prussias for my bamboo. And you know what? If you got machines that are running well, by all means, right? I would look at getting rid of, slower printers like a Prusia for a Voron. I would look at doing that. But if I end up going to the Mark 3.5, well, wait a minute. Now these have new life breathed into them for $250. And there is not a fast printer. Well, is the Neptune 4 that cheap? It's close to being that cheap. But
you ready? You ready? Go buy a Pi Zero and put a clipper on it. It'll move as fast.
Even on the 8-bit board.
My V1, again, remember my V1 with the 8-bit ramps and DRVs at 12 volts moves as fast as a Bamboo running Clipper. The reason Clipper is awesome is because
I kind of want the 32-bit board though. To get all the input shaping stuff from pre-show.
So I've mentioned this on my stream during the Mark IV upgrade or Mark IV build stream. This right here is my Mark III. It's a fully stock Mark III S Plus. The only thing I've done to it is I do have a Pi 02 plugged into the controller, running Octoprint. It's just running Octoprint, and I got a webcam on it, which stopped working. I got to figure out why it stopped working. But other than that, it's stock. The plan for this is whenever you can get a neck extruder, standalone, put a neck extruder on it.
Yep.
And just upgrade it to Clipper, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do to it. Because honestly, that's probably your biggest bang for the buck. You get all the wonderful features of Clipper, which the 32-bit board will allow you to do too. But you know, you're getting it for the cost of a Pi Zero.
Fair.
And you could do input shaper and pressure advance and all the fun stuff. And remote monitoring and a web UI and webcam support.
I don't care too much about that stuff, right? Like
I do, because my printers aren't in like a room with me.
Yeah, I work in here, so
yeah. So if you're in the room, but my printers are always down here, and when my printers are running down here, I keep the door closed. I don't want to open the door because of fume. Now it's not so big a deal because of the garage. But like my computer, my desktop computer upstairs, I've got 3 monitors. I've got my left monitor, my right monitor, and then I got a monitor mounted to the wall above it. That one has Discord on half of it. The other one is just printers. I got the webcam feeds on my printers. So I can just, printer's good.
I can appreciate that, right?
It is really nice.
That is good. And maybe, right? We were looking at doing a portable 3D printer deployable system via a shipping container. That's a talk for another day, but you know, that's where we were going to do full monitoring. When I leave for a while, there's a camera up here that can just see all the printers. So I just turn that on, and it's a webcam on my PC. So I just log into my PC remotely, via Parsec or something like that. But yeah, I because we have some ITAR work that we do, we have air gapped. There's the only printer that's on the network is that one back there. And that one is only on a internal VLAN on a separate computer that is on that same VLAN. And that's all those 2 things do. And that's only for Octoprint and Octolapse for time lapses for the channel. It does not do anything that's like, special.
Yeah. All my printers that all my printers with Clipper, everything's on my network. Everything is fully accessible. Because that's just how I run it. I'm not doing ITAR stuff, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah. But I also leave my printers on pretty much all the time. Like
same, they don't draw enough wattage for me to give a shit.
Yeah, like even this one that I'm using to store parts for a blaster I'm building, a Nerf blaster. Yeah, this printer's on. I could, although this one doesn't have taps, so I would crash if I homed it.
But like the Prussias draw like 2 watts.
Yeah, when they're just, although I got to be careful now because I got printers in the garage. It's so hot in the garage that the MCUs are getting hot to the point on idling where it's kicking on the controller fans to cool them off because they're so hot in the garage. Like I'm just out there and all you just hear the fans start kicking on. I'm like, what the heck? And I look up like, oh, it's 30 in here now.
Yep. That is a problem here too, because like during the day it can get up that hot in here. But you know, it's kind of just part and parcel of doing this. It is there's never a perfect answer. Right?
Correct.
And everybody's solution is a little bit different. Joel's got his basement shop. He used to have a building. You know, Clayton has his building.
Yeah, Joel's still, their studio is rented. That's not his basement.
I thought it was his basement.
No, that's a rental.
Oh.
It's a
I thought they had a much bigger studio. They went to a smaller studio. I thought that was back to his basement.
Okay, so he had that studio, which was a rental. So he did move out of his basement to that one. Then he rented a house for a bit. And then he went back to that because it didn't make sense to rent the house or something like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now he's back at his second site. So he was at his house, then a second site, then a third site. Now he's back at the second. But I was trying to find who's basically what I wanted, because I want to move my channel more into just projects and whatnot. If you ever watch like Adam Savage Tested and whatnot, where he's just like that kind of stuff. Like I want to be able to do stuff like that, but you need room for that. You need equipment for that. You need machines.
Or
for that.
you need organization like Adam Savage does.
Or that too. Yeah, organization. I've got, I still have my bag from Murph. I haven't finished unpacking. I just kind of take stuff out of it as I need it. But Ivan Miranda.
Yeah.
Right. His setup where he just has that like garage.
Just a big open room.
That's all I want.
Yep.
That's all I want. And
high
I would
ceilings.
just build high ceilings, a big open room, and I just have a crash cart with a computer on it that I can move around for streaming. So I can just set up in different spots.
The way that Mars Gizmo has his cart with all the stuff. Dude, that cart is like the dream.
You know who Unnecessary Inventions. Have you seen his studio?
Yeah, Maddie's studio is just
the
new studio.
Those Tiki Talks must be paying bank because he's got like $6,000 or 6,000 square feet in like a big city.
But the problem with that is, I bet his work is harder than the work that you and I do because he's always not only come up with a banger idea, but he must film it in a way that is quick. He has 60 seconds to tell a story or less, and it has to be captivating. I look at it and say these shorts creators work harder than the long form creators because they are functionally limited to an amount of time where we're not. I only have a calendar invite for you for 2 hours. We're at almost 2 3/4 hours here. We're just going. And
this is normal.
They don't have that option. They can film 2 hours worth of content, but it needs to be 60 seconds or less.
Yeah. And they have to ride that algorithm wave. Like if they drop off, you're done. And like getting on the wave is the hard part. You have to find the thing that clicks, and you have to just maximize it because all of a sudden it just might not be the thing anymore.
I was scanning.
Also, appearances on talk shows help too.
And then the merch and the games,
and then the merch and sponsorships and all that.
So we work with sports teams. We scan the Bucks on Friday, Tampa Bay Bucks, and one of the guys like, I am too old for this shit. I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 23. I said, what? I said, dude, I've got a decade on you. He said,
Wait, how old are you?
But I'm 33.
Fuck, I'm older than you.
He said, yeah, but remember, most people don't make it past your age in my industry. And if they do, they end up with such long-term trauma,
problems.
CTE and that kind of thing. He said, so I have to work my ass off so that the rest of my life I can live reasonably comfortably. And we always work with the director of performance, which is always a funny title for teams. But, we were talking with them just kind of about how does this work, right? These guys, they're getting the hell beat out. He's like, yep. He said, the worst part is they have an off season where they're not making the kind of money that they made in the on season. And if they don't understand that your lifestyle needs to change, this is why we have a lot of issues with new players that have financial problems because they still want to fly first class because that's how we fly. We fly in a private jet, right? Or they want to travel in nice cars because when we're out places, we get nice cars for the players.
And they're hanging out with the players that are making the massive amount of money, and they don't want to be the cheap guy, right? So if you're hanging out with a guy who's dropping 60 grand on a bottle of whatever, you're going to be doing that too, even though you're making a fraction,
right?
Yep.
And sure, could I look at renting a space? I mean, I could. Would that, put a new trajectory on the channel that gets me to a point where that space becomes profitable? Theoretically. But am I physically, mentally, and emotionally able to do that right now? And the answer to that is no.
Yep.
Now, what extent of each of those is no, I don't want to get into. But it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So that's again going back to what allows me to kind of do what I'm doing at the size my channel is, because I've had people like, you're full-time YouTube. I'm like, yeah. They're like, how? And I'm like, I found a niche, it's working, and I run things pretty lightweight and I have no debt. Right. I'm lucky. I'm 35. My wife has a decent job and we don't have debt. Like we have payments, don't get me wrong. I still have a mortgage and whatnot, but it's I don't have credit card debt. I don't have, medical debt. I don't have student debt. I'm able to just kind of
you're bad debt free.
Yeah. Basically, if people ask, I'm making roughly what I made working. Like I'm not making Mr. Beast bucks here, no. Or whatever. I'm making enough to keep basically doing what I'm doing. But yeah, when I was looking for an offsite location, there were criteria. One of it was I can't be spending a crazy amount. Like it had to be, and
it can't be too far from home.
Yeah,
because then it's going to be not convenient. You're never going to go there.
Exactly. So it had to be close by and it had to be cheap. The problem is those don't exist because I live in the burbs and I live in in Canada. So we don't have the density, right? It's not like there's like warehouses where you can rent like a little, like 1,000 square foot unit and it's got nothing in it, but that's all you need. And it's like, no, that doesn't exist. So pretty much all I have near me was commercial. So I'd basically be renting like a storefront shop,
which doesn't
or
work
residential.
either.
Yeah. So it's like the cheapest thing I found was it was like a $950 or 950 square foot
and not
unit.
high speed networking. Don't forget about that. You need gig.
Oh, we have that. We have that here.
Well, I don't have that. Okay, so that's on my list.
It was 950 square feet. It was so you had like storefront on the front, and then there was like a back unit where it was like pizza places and chiropractors and whatnot. It was one of those. 950 square feet. It was $2,200 a month. Nope, that's out of budget.
It makes more sense to convert the entire basement into a space,
or the garage,
Well, and then see, in the States, what you end up doing is if you own the house, you own the business, you rent space in the house to the business for that same amount of money every month.
I write, when I do my taxes, I write off a portion of the house.
Well, you can you don't even just write it off. You can actually rent it to Nero3D LLC, whatever you might have as the business, and that income that you bring in is classified as secondary income and taxed considerably lower, at least here in the States, than regular first level income. So that's something it's why people do this. It's why I pay an accountant for a reason, because three-letter organizations I don't like.
Yeah, I did my taxes last year on my own. I did like the whatchamacallit, the TurboTax business one. I did that, and it screwed up, and I owe more money than I thought I did.
Look,
so
better to owe money than to get it back. Everyone loves tax refunds. I hate tax refunds. I want to pay
that means
pay extra every year.
You gave the government an interest-free loan. Yep, basically.
Yep. And not that I can ever beat inflation unless I'm, really playing the stock market and I actually make decent choices. But if I can make $4.25 by putting that into Ally Bank with full liquidity versus letting the government hold it and I'm not getting a dime extra for it, I'll take that extra $10-15 and I'll go out and have a cheap meal. Damn it.
Yep. And then I did find something that would have worked perfectly. It was $800 a month for like roughly the same square footage. Mm-hmm. However, it was 45 minutes away.
Yep, that doesn't work. And
I'm a YouTuber. If I'm working for myself, I'm not driving 45 minutes to work.
And then Calvin probably has to go back into daycare, or he has to come with you. And
well, the plan was basically he's in school now, right? Mm-hmm. So the plan would be drop him off at school, go to the studio, do whatever I got to do there, and then pick him up from school and go home and it'd be done for the day. And then in the afternoon, if I need to go to the studio, either take him with me or if my wife, because she works shift work, if she was on days, she would be home on afternoons and I can go to the studio and do that. So that would be the plan basically. And then during the summer, we'd figure something out.
Yeah.
I would basically do what I do now, where I basically only do my streams when my wife's home. So if she's out, that's why I have to do I've had to change my schedule quite a bit now that little guy's home for the summer, because she either is at work till 2 or she gets home from work at 2. So I have to cut my stream short for the early day streams because I just don't have the time, and then start later because I have to wait for her to get home.
I'm now mad at Dan Brunimer. I got to say, I love my storefront, 5,000 square foot, 20 cents a square foot, 3-phase power. He's 25 miles outside of Pittsburgh. It's 3 miles from his house. I see in the States,
Western Pennsylvania, you can find a lot of those. See, in Canada, those properties, they do exist. But again, I found one, but it was 45 minutes away. Yeah. And it was basically some guy's garage. Some guy had a garage that he was renting out. And it was that was another thing. I don't want to base my job out of some guy's garage. I'd rather be my garage or an actual industrial or commercial place, kind of like LTT, how they have that unit in Industrial Plaza, something like that, but smaller, which we do have around here. but
We do too.
they're a bit of a drive and they're out of my price range.
And-
Or Printed Solid. You've been to Printed Solid, right? Those units in that kind of area.
Yeah.
One of those smaller units would be perfect.
With the view that they have out their back doors, though, man, that's nice out there.
But it would have to be within my area.
Mm-hmm.
So within a 10, 15 minute drive. And it would have to be within my budget, which those don't exist around me. Because again, I live in the burbs. So anything commercial or residential is that's all I got. There's no industrial near me. And then
I was paying $20 a square foot when I had a retail space. Because we tried retail 3D printing. That's where we started. We started in retail. And it didn't work. But we also started this in 2016. Where, okay, the times were a little bit different. But even now, I don't think that retail 3D printing has a chance. And there are some, let's just go with personalities online that talk about now is the time to start a 3D printer repair business. And if you want to do a 3D printer repair business out of your garage, that's fine. And I am more than happy to help people repair their printers. I have a $150 bench fee.
Yep.
And if your printer is not over $500, it's not worth it to have me look at it. Because we don't even guarantee results. $150, I'm just going to tell you what's wrong with it, and then we figure out how to fix it.
In an area where there's enough people with printers for that even to be viable, because nobody's shipping you a printer.
No, God, no, it's too expensive.
You have to be you would have to be in like a densely populated area where rental fees for commercial spaces ain't cheap, and because there's not that big demand, and also most people have shitty cheap printers. Let's be honest. And then the printers that aren't shitty and cheap are now no longer user serviceable. Look up the process you need to do to replace an XY bearing on a bamboo. You're charging the price of a P1S to fix that.
Oh, easy. Yeah. And that's where it becomes a commodity. And I hate e-waste. But I also... There's like the hobbyist in me hates it because I want right to repair. The business in me doesn't give a shit as long as I can pay it off fast.
As long as I can make money.
And it's like, I have such a tie to open source. And it's funny because like the politicians we're not open sourcing it because it's going to get copied. And in fact, we're making our own custom color. Boy, I wonder who's going to make that custom color for us. But we're going to make a custom color so that's how we know. If it is anything other than the custom color that we make, that is how I'm going to control them, right? They're not going to be that difficult to copy. The circuitry is off the shelf for the most part.
Yeah.
We've got some special sauce in there, but it is pretty much a standard thing. It's just nobody has done it in this form factor. 62 millimeter footprint, XY. That's it. Real tiny.
And what is it again?
It's a heater and filter combination.
Okay.
Yeah. So originally designed for resin printers. But
you can put it in a
we're hard limiting it to like 60 to 65C. So that is more than enough to do ABS very comfortably.
Oh, easily.
And we are at the same time developing a high temp, which just has to not have that. We're doing PETG most likely for the 3D print.
Okay.
But once we go high temp, we're talking north of 100C. So now we're looking at different systems we're going to, use high temp fans that are made of metal and the entire
stamped sheet metal.
Everything's going to end up being stamped sheet metal of some sort. And it's a larger unit and it's going to be designed because, spoiler, I want to do a high temp Voron really bad. And I want to look at if you can print Ultem for better than what you can do on an Intemsys FunMat HT, because those are 5.5 to 8K, depending on where you buy them from. And if I can do, and I know there's a couple of guys out there that have done it on the Vorons. In fact, I think I saw one at Remurf. But that I think has so much value to it where, all right, let's look at the labor we put into it. Let's look at the time we put into it. And then let's look at the results. And I know that Vorons have that heater, the Nevermore, I think is what it's called. Is that what it's called?
So Vorons are not designed for Ultem. People have done it. I've tried it. The front fell off because the assembly melted.
Well, I'm not going to make it out of plastic.
Okay. So it's not really a Voron at that point. But the Nevermore isn't a heater.
Oh, okay. It's just the filter.
Yep. No, it's fans and a filter. So basically what it does is it sucks in air, passes it under your bed through a charcoal filter, and then up. So it basically turns your printer into a convection oven.
Oh, so it's passively heating, I guess.
Yes, it's basically it's taking the hot air that kind of sits by your bed and blowing it around so that the bed has to heat up more, so it dumps more heat into the circuit.
Whenever I'm heating up the bamboo for ABS, I bring the bed right to the middle of the intake of the aux fan. I turn the aux fan to like 40%. I don't know if it helps, but in theory it should.
So yeah.
But like I tried to get a Carvera because I wanted to use the Carvera to look at making a all aluminum Voron to do Ultem, because as we know as content creators, we can't just do the same boring shit over and over. We have to look at doing something that's a little bit cooler, it's a little bit better. And I don't think anyone's ever home milled an entire Voron and then printed Ultem on it.
Okay, I haven't done that, but I've got parts in here that I machined out of carbon fiber.
Yeah,
there are parts in this printer that I machined out of
the
carbon
new model
fiber.
workshop said that she did it with CF. I don't have a mill anymore. Oh, I do. I have a 3010, but calling that a mill is just not fair to mills.
No, mine is a Comgro Robo CNC that I've modified. It's running Duet. It's got a Duet 2 running rep firmware. And I put a 500-watt spindle on it.
Nice.
And it's okay. It's very limiting on space.
Yeah.
And it's not I wish it was more rigid, because I put that big spindle on it and now it's kind of like
Well, that's why I wanted to go with the Carvera, because it looks like it kind of solves all the problems, and its workspace is not huge. I think it's like 9 by 12. But that's
it's only got like a 200-watt spindle, but it's a lot more rigid.
Rigidity to me matters way more than spindle power.
Yeah.
Mind you, like I've got access to a Herco that has a 64-inch X-axis. So like,
oh, there you go.
But I have to pay for it, right? I have to pay $150 to $200 an hour to use it. And it's...
What are you doing?
Do we have Calvin?
Want to say hi?
Hi, Calvin!
Hi. What are you doing in your PJs again?
Hey, it's Sunday. He can stay in his PJs.
That's Grant. You say hi, Grant.
Hi, Grant.
Hi.
What are you doing down here?
How are you doing, Grant?
I'm doing good, man. We're doing a podcast. We're having fun. I'm talking to Dad.
He's having fun. Okay. What do you want for dinner? Do I got to start making dinner soon? I got to start making dinner soon. What do you want for dinner?
Yeah, what are we having for dinner? Come on over.
I like pizza today.
You want pizza?
Hell yeah. I
Okay,
like this
we'll
kid
figure out
even
pizza.
more.
Okay.
Pizza.
Go back upstairs.
Amber, it's pizza for dinner. Calvin said so.
We had pizza on Friday. He's not getting pizza again.
Well, Calvin said pizza, so I'm gonna go get pizza for dinner.
We probably should wrap it up at some point.
Yeah, we should.
I haven't even lunch yet.
I haven't eaten.
I'm starving.
All right, well, this is perfect.
It won't be about an hour, 3 hours later. See, now you're working on my timetable where I do 3-hour streams.
Hey, I'm fine. We used to do longer ones, but it's like I can't pull 161 people on my own. There's 161 people watching right now, so thanks everyone for coming out. Like the video, subscribe to Nero3D, of course. Links are in the description. Dude, thanks for coming out. This has been a really awesome 150. We got to do this more often. We got to hang out more often, and I got to get that Voron built so then I can finally be respected in this community.
If Joel could do it, you could do it.
I know, but I'm so nervous because I know
if
I'm
only you had a guy
who's
who's somewhat of a Voron guy who, you could just call up and ask for help if you need anything.
Well, then I got to get your phone number. We'll take care of that.
There you go.
All right, we're going to end this one here, guys. This has been episode 150, season 3, episode 46 of the Making Awesome podcast. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.
Bye.
Leave a like.